I didn't have a choice to learn what mental health was. I'm not joking. Like, I was so low, Rick. Like, I want people to be more aware that life's hard and it's okay. And like, I need to pull myself through. It gave me another purpose in life because then I can help other people get through. It's still rough. Like, I just got to LA and I'm just like grieving still. That's why I can easily cry right now. But like, I'm learning about mental health and I'm learning about ways to cope and get through and like be the best person I can be.
You're gonna help a lot of people.
I'm on fire because I really want to impact people's lives.
Knock him out the box, Rick. Knock him out, Rick. Knock him out the box. We sat down with Lil Fresh Sam, amazing fashion designer. She has her own brand called Infecting. We became friends years ago. We did an amazing like fashion show and event for special needs in downtown and really became great friends. And then our journeys took us different places, you know, and we needed that. We needed that to grow. And, you know, we had a little disagreement at the time and we came back together for the first time in this interview in person since that disagreement. And I mean, it was just amazing to see how much we both have grown. Two better puzzle pieces just came together again. But check out this interview, Lil Fresh Sam. She's a philosopher. She talks about mental health. She's super vulnerable and completely focused on helping other people. And definitely an interview to watch. Lil Fresh Sam. Let's go. Know your worth.
Right. And look, like there's value behind that, you know?
Exactly.
And I appreciate it.
And you know you have value behind that. You have to establish that value, man. You know that. You know that already.
I'm upping it, man. Remember our price, man, when I was working with you, my price was like $350. And now I'm like, I just turned down a shoot the other day for $500 because I was like, no, I just don't want to. Like, it's not worth my time. That's so much effort you expect from me. And it's not enough.
Because it's not just the photo shoot. It's the before, the after, the prep, the drive time. You got to know your per hour rate.
Delivering or like fittings, and then if they need it returned, after, you know, it's a lot of shit. People just don't realize. They're like, oh, you just dress people. No,
right?
It's so much more. I remember assisting for a stylist, and she was like, oh, we're not actually wardrobe stylists. We're clothing movers, because we move clothes like constantly from one location to another. You know, like it's fun.
Right.
It's a whole thing though.
Yes. But the price should go up naturally if you're paying attention to your per hour rate. Like if you know your numbers and you remember how when we did those price sheets a while back, like you got to know, well, how long does it take you to do this? How long does it? And then when you calculate, you go, oh shit, I'm only making $10 an hour. Like if you're doing a, 50-hour project and they're only going to pay you, $500.
Yep.
So you got to know that. And then naturally, as your demand and your skill level goes up, you're just not going to say yes to like $20 an hour, $30 an hour. Not that it's not because you're being,
I'm never
arrogant. Yeah,
it's just my time.
Your time now dictates X amount. You're in demand. So
I've been doing this a decade, almost a decade. In 2022, in January, I'll be doing this a decade. So
you should have an anniversary party for that.
I should. I would love to. Me and Free had an idea. We wanted to. He has an idea. We both have ideas, so we'll talk to you about that. We know you like events.
Like a 10-year...
No, but that's a great idea. Just about doing like events in LA. We have a lot more resources. My roommate's a caterer. Like, we could just do some really cool stuff.
Well, there's a lot I haven't told you to. Like we're launching a whiskey brand this January.
Okay.
10-year. We're going to have bottles in December. 4 launch parties. We're going to be an artist-heavy brand.
Like we're gonna be influencer marketing?
What do you mean? We just want to help artists. Okay. Like, so my partner is a writer. He came to Hollywood to be a writer 20 plus years ago, was a very accomplished writer after a while. Then he became an entrepreneur. I'm a film producer, that used to be an accountant, right? So our brand it's kind of a movie-based brand of alcohol. Like the labels and the concept is like movie-based. We come up with our own concepts, but
so we want to whiskey's around a movie?
Kind of, yes. Our own concept movie, but yes, kind of tied to the whiskey. And it's not just whiskey, it's bourbon, rye, and tequila and some other stuff, but like primarily whiskey. But the point is, like, because we're so ingrained in the artist communities naturally, we're like, oh, we should be an artist brand, like let's not get celebrities to endorse the product, which is what people think at first. It's like, let's get artists to submit trailers, to submit label designs. Let's do limited releases. Let's do like release parties. Like if an artist is releasing an NFT, let's sponsor that, give bottles, help with some of the cost. and become like, because we're going to be an LA brand first, but we're going to go like international, because it's a kind of an LA, it's a cool LA brand, but let's really be an artist brand. Let's
Yeah.
really be, and a lot of, charity work with the homeless population.
Awesome.
But we do it through the artists, like create a
Okay.
community basically.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you about that. But since you brought up like events, like, man,
That's
it's
exciting.
coming up December. Put that in your head, just because
Cool.
if
I have
I think
ideas
New
already
Year's
for you.
parties want to really like do something cool.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So I just got a campaign for this wine company, and they basically, I'm an influencer. So they're paying me to post and create content for it, right? But what I like about this wine brand is they let artists design their labels, and it's just cool labels, and they're all different. So that's a super smart thing for you to do. Incorporate.
Yes.
If you see fit. But
Hey,
it's
no
working.
reason. We want all the brands to do it. Like, why not? Why not
Right.
incorporate? Why not incorporate the amazing talents that are out there that aren't gonna maybe get notoriety because maybe they don't have the channels, and put that on our product? Like,
Yep.
why not? And it does. It like
And you'll be
ours is
selective.
unique. So
Yeah.
even though it's artist created, it's a unique angle. There could be a wine brand. There could be a shoe brand. There could be. I think it's a great idea of like how to create amazing content with amazing artists that wouldn't normally maybe have a platform.
Right.
Like our website's there's gonna be big chunks dedicated to artist submissions, contests, scholarships.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
it's gonna
That's
be fun.
dope.
Like it's unlimited possibilities because we can have unlimited products. Like we'll have set products, but we'll come up with new blends. Oh, this is finished in a honey barrel. This is
Yep.
with a new label, a new concept, a new label
Right.
concept.
Yep.
Trailers, movies, like we're gonna eventually make the movies because the stories behind the labels are like full on movie concepts. So, but it's not about the movie. It's just about creating a story that people can relate to, and also creating a community, bringing people together.
Right.
That's what it's really about.
Right. I love it. That's dope.
But the brand, obviously, I learned a lot in the last 10 years and in corporate and working for big companies. Like, man, the amount of attention and money they put on the brand, I understand why. Because so
Branding.
many brands fall short because they have a really cool concept or they have really cool art, but it just doesn't have that, like, whatever it needs. You know what I mean? Like, you understand that because people go, oh, you're just dressing people up, putting clothes on. It's art. You're painting with clothing and creating your own
It's the
clothing.
number one thing you look at when you're watching a music video, besides sets.
Man, look, I always say, people say, well, it's on the inside that counts. True. But if you're out there trying to get a date, nobody knows what's on the inside till you show them what's on the outside, right? No one's
That's how
trying to
you
get
get
to know
'em
you if you
to listen.
Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
put it out there who you are. What's that brand? Who are and the brand doesn't mean a fake identity. It's who are you really as a person? What do you want to put out there? What do you want to attract? Are you like a clean conservative look because that's kind of your lifestyle? You like it like that, or are you, very creative and you want to show that? And someone like you can help express that. And like most people can't do it. They might have an
It's
idea.
a skill, everybody's meant for something. It's a
Right.
skill. Like you always know, I'm like, I always credit God because I'm like, I didn't give myself this skill, but that's why that companies have all departments. They have a creative director, they have a photographer, they have a depending on what company, accountant, they have a book, marketing. It's because one person can't do it all, and I'm learning that. And I already learned that, but now I'm implementing.
You know what? There's learning is on different depth levels. Sometimes you learn something like, oh, it's all about the team, but
But you
you
can't
may not learn it on a
incorporate yet.
deep. Yeah, you may not understand it on a deep enough level.
Yep.
Like to what extent?
Right.
Because honestly, everyone says, "Oh, I know that," but they don't because their actions
They don't
dictate.
apply.
They don't apply it.
That's what I liked about watching you, like even with like outsourcing stuff for $10 an hour. Like I get why now. You know what I mean? And I'm looking for that person right now. And it's the right match. And by going through so many people, like assistant wise, that it's worth it to wait to find the one. And so I'm waiting, but I'm also applying.
And it's okay you're not there yet. You know what I'm saying? Like it's okay that you don't have the team yet. Are you supposed to have? I think it's 10. You need 10.
10
Yeah. You
people
need 10 people
to run $1 billion company.
to run anything. Anything.
Yep.
Now, if it's like a $1 billion company that requires a lot of operations, those 10 are going to hire hundreds or maybe thousands of people. But you need like 8 to 12, like a basketball
Depending on
team. I'm telling you.
yeah.
Because you need a good lawyer, you need a good accountant,
Yep.
you need a good marketing person,
Yep.
brand designer.
Yep.
If you don't have a good
Creative
brand
director.
designer, I don't care how great you are on the inside.
It won't stick.
No one's going to buy you if you don't have a great icon. It's true. Why do you think Nike or companies spend millions of dollars on icon design? And people go, it's just 2 little lines. Like, well, try to do it. But
Right.
you need
And you don't know how
somebody
many
in every
concepts
department.
they created to get that 2 little lines. That's why I'm really one thing I do love about Instagram is we do get to see a lot more BTS, like behind the scenes.
Yes.
Of what it
Thank
really
you.
takes, just for those
For us
who
old
don't
people.
know.
Hey, I didn't really know what that was until like 3 months ago. He's like, BTS. I'm like, I said behind the scenes. He's like, yeah, BTS. I'm like, oh, okay.
I
I'm
know
old.
sometimes I still am trying to decipher like these ones that I see on Instagram. I'm like, I don't know what that
It's a
means.
lot of
But
acronyms.
okay, cool. Like sure, skip that. But yeah, so something we were talking about a little bit ago is like just lessons from COVID. And I'll say it because I think it's really important. Something I learned in the last year and a half is like I have choice. I don't have to be around anyone. I don't have to say yes to anyone. I don't have to do anything. I don't want to. Like,
Right.
I mean, other than like survive and take care of myself, right?
Yeah.
But like,
And even that, it's your choice.
true, because
Everything's
we
your
see
choice.
homeless every day, all
Everything's
over.
your choice.
But I was so used to like being at the mercy of everyone else and like opinions and like just so much like it didn't feel good. It weighed me down. And
What
I
do
think
you mean? What does that mean?
okay,
to
so
you?
what that means is like, especially in LA, I had been in LA, and I traveled after COVID because I had to leave here. But what that means is I feel like I got like the LA syndrome, and what that means,
Take your time.
people
I
care
like
about
this.
what people think
Yes.
out here so much. That's like what they dictate their entire life off of. Like they literally work all this time to buy jewelries to impress other people, or like, you know what I mean, cars. I see people living in their BMWs and it's just like, why? Like, so I got in the LA syndrome and I was just caring too much about like what people thought. And I think like most of our lives we run off of what other people think we should do, right? And I was tired of it. Also like went through my first death in a family, like 3 of them in 1 year, and it just changed me. Like it changed me. I realized that I want to only be around people I want to be around. I only want to work for companies I want to work for. I don't have to like accept every job I get, if it doesn't feel good, like, and that means if it doesn't align with who I am, I'm not doing it. And so that also helps me allow more time to giving back. So after my nana died, shout out to her, I dedicated like half my life to like giving back. So I need to really allocate my time better, which is a great thing, right? But it took that happening for me to like just take a step back and realize what
Sometimes.
matters,
Well, because you're a student of this game.
And I'm really a student because I pay attention.
If you're a student, it's gonna come together at some point. If you're not, it's a really rough game. Really rough game. If you're gonna keep blaming others, or if only this happened, if only, at the end of the day, like you said, everything's a choice. I mean, nothing's your fault either. Nothing. You don't need to blame yourself for anything or feel bad about yourself that you're not this way or that way. That's
Right.
one of the first things is, oh my God, it's exactly as it should be.
Right. That's
'Cause
how
it
we were
is.
designed to be.
Because it is. It's written in fucking history. I'm 10 pounds overweight. That's exactly where I'm supposed to be. I should be. No, I shouldn't. I ate some ice cream. I could have skipped. That's okay. Maybe I'll change that in the future, and then I'll be 10 pounds lighter, and I'll say, now I should be there because I am. It doesn't mean you can't change and learn and be a student, but first you got to accept 100%
is.
whatever you think is fucked up about yourself or someone else. You still got to accept it and then decide, do I want to change it or no? If you don't, that's okay too. You don't have to do shit. It's your game.
Yep.
But
It's your life.
when you go through some painful shit
Mm-hmm.
and it jars your world and you are forced to, because what happens, I think, is it's happened to me so many times. It forces you to step out of your like autopilot and to
Facts.
go and you see changes because when you're going through something, people act weird. They act different.
Well, it
You see
shows you
who's
who
there, who's
they
not there.
are.
Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
then you go, what the fuck? And if you're a student, like I learned through my divorce, a lot of family weren't really there for me. And I'm like, that makes sense now. They always gave me that vibe, but the first chance they got, they stepped on me without even talking to me. So then you just go, hey, nothing personal, just don't waste your time with that.
Yeah. Like you said, what'd you say
Fam,
earlier?
be with the people you want to be with.
Oh, and you said you get two options, like love people from afar, or
Yeah, like,
what was the other one?
well, I was saying that if somebody, if let's, I love everybody. So start with that because that was a revelation for me that I think I got it from the Dalai Lama book. He has a great book with Desmond Tutu about happiness. Pretty good. It's them talking. It's crazy because they're one of the two of the greatest, most powerful religious leaders. I'm not even religious. I'm not. I'm just about learning all theories. And Dalai Lama, dude, is like my favorite religious leader because almost everything he says is just about logic, common sense, and just lessons. Like he's like, I wasn't like this when I was young. I mean, he doesn't talk like that, but now he's like, I was like very anxious, very angry. I learned to be this way.
Wise. Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, like you forget that because you go, oh, well, he's just this, bald Buddha like monk that's super chill. I can't be like that. No, he learned that shit, man, through years of like self reflection and looking at things from different perspectives. But reading his book, I'm like, wow, do I even hate? I don't hate anyone. I may not like to be around certain people. They're annoying or they say mean things, but I don't have hate toward them. I still want
Right.
them to do well.
Right.
So that was the first thing is I don't hate anyone. I love everyone. But what do I do with the people I love that just aren't good for me but want to be in my life? Do I just give my life to them? Am I at their mercy? What if my brother, I have a great brother, luckily, but what if my brother is Jeffrey Dahmer and just kills people? Like, do I need to be next to him?
No.
I don't have to hate him. I could be like, bro, you need to get help. Let's rehabilitate you. You probably need to go be in prison,
Show
but
love.
I still have love for you from afar. It sucks that you're so messed up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I look at it. Like, I used to think like that means I don't love somebody if I don't talk to them or cast them away, but that's not true. There's a lot of people in my life, a few people I know that I haven't been close to at all because it's just not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I don't want to get into why, but you understand there's
that's self-care.
situations people have mental issues they can't control. It's not their fault. I don't hate them. I love them. I love them. If they're listening, it's not the time though.
And something else.
Sometimes it's not time.
Something that really helped me love people, even if I don't agree with like their actions.
Yeah.
Is I just like one of my mentors a couple years ago told me like, yo, we're all just hurt children. And I was like, I didn't get what she was saying. Like, and then last year I learned about childhood trauma and I was like mind blown. And now I like do a mental health podcast like with my friends because it's like,
good for you.
Like this is
Thank you for doing that.
This is
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, for
sure. Can I just thank you?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it's not easy because I'm sure people talk shit and you probably think they talk shit.
Look,
it doesn't matter though.
I don't even care. Don't look.
Because you're courageous for being able to talk about it because it's a vulnerable thing. Somebody might be going through it and go, oh, well, if Sam's talking about it, it's okay then.
Yep. I never look at it.
We all have mental challenges, mental health challenges.
So
it's
many.
like,
it's impossible.
Think of it
not
as
to.
physical health. Here's the key.
How do you know what you're about
Think
to say?
of it as physical health.
I know.
We are always at risk of getting a cold, of getting sick, of being tired because we don't take care of ourselves.
So if we don't take care of our mental health or put any effort into that area, what do we expect?
And we're in an environment that is
hard,
impossible not to have issues.
Yes.
Like unless you're just like
Impossible.
completely like
Even then,
able to, but then something else is
Yes.
wrong. So it's the same thing. It's like Someone might be at like a really great physical health where you're like, dude, you sleep 4 hours a day, you never get sick, but even they occasionally will come down with an occasional flu. My point is, I think people forget that mental health is just as fragile. I go through challenges
If
I
not
never have
more.
you know what? I never have bad days. I used to. But I have bad moments all the fucking time. I don't think it's just I catch them quick because I'm so much healthier.
Yeah, and you
I
have
got
to
the
look at
tools.
things
I
like,
got good support systems.
yeah.
I have a good partner. I have great people around me. I
Mm-hmm.
put great people around me. You know why? Otherwise, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Mm-hmm. It's
I'm
important.
I'm fragile.
Well, and we have a
We're
lot
all
going
fragile.
on. It's like you said, it's near impossible to live in this world. I mean, and I don't know any other time in history if it was easier, but I know right now living because I'm here that it's impossible to be okay unless you're continuously working on your mental health. So yeah, I got so low that I like had to learn about mental health. I didn't have a choice.
Because you're a student and a great player. Not everyone has a choice. You made a great choice. Can I tell you what you just said is such a big statement? I just want to make sure people like notice it. And I'm honestly wait, I'm trying to go back to what the hell you said that I was like, "Oh my god, that was so spot on." About rewind just 10 seconds.
Which
And if we
I
don't get it,
mean,
it's okay.
I was talking about the part that I said like I didn't have a choice about learning mental
Right
health.
before that. That's really poignant too.
I don't know. I don't remember
God, it
either.
was,
It's
and
this
I
week.
can't remember. Okay, I'm gonna remember. Keep going. This is so important,
But
though. It
yeah, it
really
is. It is
is.
very important. Look, when I was in, I was
Because you
in.
don't have to have a mental illness, by the way. We're not talking
No,
about
and
mental
that's the
illness. I just
thing.
want to make sure that people understand
No,
that.
yeah, we're not talking about
We're talking
like
about mental health.
yes,
Like,
and that's the thing. I thought it was
yes,
mental illness.
right.
So I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not. I was ignorant to what mental health was a year and a half
Me
ago.
too.
I had no
Straight
idea.
up.
I was in Hawaii, paradise, and like there was a moment in time. I mean, everything shut down. We didn't know what was gonna happen. I had to leave my house. I kind of lost all my jobs. I literally actually lost all my jobs. And I'm sitting in Hawaii, the saddest ever, feeling like overwhelmed. I don't even know what's going on. I'm like, literally explaining to someone like how I felt. I was like, yo, I feel like waves are coming over me, and every time I like get a little bit of air, like another wave comes over me. Like I just
Physically, shortness of breath. Like,
yeah, but like just mentally. Yo, look, my dad, I mean, it's been I have so much to say about mental health, but look, a year and a half
can
or
you just
2 years ago,
feel free to share what you want,
I
and if you
will.
want to cut it out later, you can. I
Okay,
just think the
cool.
more you can share, the more people can relate to their. People have some
People
really
people go
amazing
through
situations
life.
out there. Everyone
Yeah.
has challenges. I don't know anyone that doesn't go through some kind of,
I don't know. I
challenge.
think like I agree. I don't know why mine are so extreme and so far or so close together, but they are, and I'm trying to take all the lessons with them. It's molded me to be who I am. I'm so excited. I'm gonna write a fucking documentary one day, and it's
Hey,
called. I already have the name, but look, 2 years ago, right before COVID happened, like my mom called me. I was just leaving another photo shoot. I have two traumatic times from leaving photo shoots, but this time my mom called me saying like, yo, never even want to think about this again, but like hysterical crying that like my dad just got attacked and they don't know if he's gonna be alive after like a few hours. Like he was on his way to the ICU. Like they didn't know if he was gonna make it. And naturally, like it broke me. Like I was just like, what the fuck? Like I went out there, but it like so that happened 2 years ago. That happened, and then COVID happened. And then, it's just, and then right after realizing what depression was and that I was depressed as fuck because I didn't even want to create, I didn't want to do anything. I was like, and I'm in paradise, and like the person I was with is like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know why I feel this way. I don't know why I don't want to like do anything, but I don't want to. And the next day, I was like, yo, I'm gonna turn my phone off that night. I'm gonna turn my phone off. I'm gonna just take a break. I slept in, tried to like figure out things to do to help me, woke up to my phone blowing up that my grandpa died. And I'm just like, like, God, can I get a freaking break? Like, damn. And then it's just like nonstop since then. My nana died a couple months ago. My uncle died 2 weeks after her. I went to 2 funerals in 2 weeks. Like, yo, it was just a lot. So when I said I didn't have a choice to learn what mental health was, I'm not joking. Like, I know you said it's a choice, but it wasn't a choice. I was so low, Rick. Like, I didn't want to live. Like, let me be real. And so like I had to learn. And that's why I'm like, sorry, I don't want to cry.
That's okay.
But I like,
You can cry. I'm gonna probably cry too.
I want people to be more aware that like life's hard and it's okay. And I also researched in those times like what the suicide rate was during that time, and it was like fucking outrageous.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, cool. So it's not just me. I need to do something about this. Like, I need to pull myself through. It gave me another purpose in life. I need to pull myself through right now because then I can help other people get through. Right. And that's always how I look at my pain and trauma, honestly. But yeah, it was rough, yo. It's still rough. Like, I just got to LA and I'm just like, honestly, like grieving still. That's why I can easily cry right now. But like, and it's okay. And I'm learning how to, and I'm learning about mental health, and I'm learning about ways to cope and get through and like, you know, be the best person I can be.
You're going to help a lot of people.
I'm excited because I'm on fire now. I'm so on fire. Like, you met me like when I was like going through a lot too, and you know, and I got through that shit, and I'm always get through everything, but I'm on fire because I really want to impact people's lives. So yeah, it's a good time.
And like all those, look, it's, to me, I don't try to explain this game necessarily. I just try to play it as best I can. So like, whether it happened for a reason or sometimes things just happen. Like, I could get into an accident and be a paraplegic all of a sudden, and everything I knew is gone, right? It happens to people, and 5 of their friends die or in the same accident.
Right,
like,
right.
Shit happens where it's like, it's not necessarily whether about fair or not. This is just, you just know that this is how this game is.
Life's not
fair. It can be brutal, right? Yeah. The point is to like, knowing that, to like focus on, you know, how to deal, how to navigate,
exactly,
how to maybe look at things. What about expectations, right? You know, when you set certain expectations for yourself, that in and of itself can create a depression equation. Like, if you go, I need X plus Y to be happy.
Yeah.
And people go, oh, if you're not X and Y, you're a mess. What's wrong with you? You're not married yet? Mm-hmm. Do you have a career? Mm-hmm. What are you doing with your life? So if you think X and Y equals happiness, and X and Y means you have to be X rich, X this, Y that, then you're going to be depressed. You're creating depression, self-created. Now, I don't mean to say that it's your choice to be in a bad situation. That's not what I meant. The choice part is just the fact that it's okay not to do what someone says or to do what's best for you too. I just always want people to feel like I think you have freedom of choice in your situation. Now, you can't blame yourself because really everything we are had nothing to do with our choices. Like, our brain and our environment we got born into, we didn't get to choose that. We got lucky. Lucky or unlucky. Some people get unlucky. Like, they're born with like physical ailments that last their whole life, and they only live 3 years. Don't tell me that's a lucky. No, that's unlucky. You got dealt a bad hand, and sometimes that's just the way it is. So you dealt a 2-7 and you lose, but sometimes you get dealt a 2-7, you fucking win a huge pot, and I've seen it happen a lot. People love winning with 2-7 in poker. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I don't know poker.
Well, the point is you can win with a 2-7. That's the point.
Okay.
But it's not a judgment on you. It's not your fault that you got dealt a 2 and a 7. You are not the dealer, baby.
Right. But look, I challenge that. I challenge you to look at it in a different light.
Sure.
My mentor wrote this book called Within Is Through, and I read it, and it was crazy. You'll really enjoy it. I'll make sure you get in touch. But he explains it like this: like, there's no good and bad. There's no good and like it's just, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't look at I mean, it sucks, and like sometimes I feel selfish because I want my Nana to be here and I want to call her, but I'm like, it is what it is. Like, it's part of life. Like, life isn't fair. So
100.
I try to not look at the good and bad. I don't want to. Because then it brings judgment, right? Then it's like it is one way or the other. No, it's just, it is what it is. Like,
I agree 100%. There is no good and bad. That's part of the problem. There is no good and bad. There just is. there's decisions you can make to try to make your game better if you want something. If you want more pleasure and you're like, that's going to give me more pleasure, do the thing that gets you that. Fortunately, humans are built on love. Like, we all want love, we all crave it. Sometimes we just get fucked up and then we just do fucked up shit later in life. Still, love drives us. Therefore, doing what you want, usually, if you're a high level thinker, you start treating people nice and you start hanging out with people you like because you realize that's the only thing that makes you really like happy. Being in a tribe that you like, people that support
Right.
you, and you feel useful. You're doing, hey,
Have you seen that
I'm
documentary?
helping the tribe. Look at me. Great. Good job, Sam. And then Sam's like, wow, I'm like designing shit for my tribe and they like it. I feel nobody wants to feel like shit. No one wants
Yeah.
to feel useless.
Yep.
It's just we don't find ourselves.
Have you?
But it's not about good or bad.
Right.
Like it's no like I don't judge a homeless person. I could have been born to drug addict parents on the street and lived and died that way, and that's not my fault. And there's no judgment to that.
And look, once you get dealt the hand you get dealt, like from there it's your choice. Like you
Right.
have choice from
That's
there.
what I'm saying.
So like you can like go one way or the other. You could do good. You could do your best and become what you didn't like about your parents or whatever like the case is. But like you have choice.
True.
And you can always choose better.
You can.
It's hard.
Hard work though.
But it's you can. The opposite is
That's the thing, right? You do have choices to do, meaning you have limits in that you were dealt a certain hand. So you go, okay, but you still have choice. You can go all in, you could put this in, you could try that.
I mean,
But
Steve
the point
Harvey
is-
was homeless.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
it still takes work.
right. And
That's
a
the
lot
other
of
part of this game,
sacrifice and
right.
all the dedication, everything, all the words. But yeah,
Exactly.
it's a
Figure out how to play your hand the best you can,
Yep.
and then go to work. Because I don't ever see it happening without work. That's the
It-
one other part
impossible.
of the equation.
yes.
If you're not working, you're usually not happy.
If you're not yeah,
I
because,
often
look,
don't see happy people that aren't
accomplishments-
working.
even if it's as simple as like getting a task done or
Right.
like a multiple things of done that day, like
Right.
it's accomplishments.
Exactly.
Something to look forward to. We
Managing
always
a
used to
household.
talk about like
Yeah.
jumping out of bed in the morning. Like
Right.
find what makes you want to do that.
It could be running your household. It could be
Totally.
running a company. It could.
Yep.
I'm not saying work as in like regular work. It could be making art. If you're usually humans, if they're not like
Applying
doing
themselves.
something, they
Yeah.
are interested in doing, they're gonna not be satisfied.
Yep.
That's all.
I read this quote. I wish I had it. I'll have to find it like at some point. But it was talking about happiness, and that's something I also like been obsessed with.
Yes.
As you can see by my
Is that-
latest tattoos.
Oh,
I got
nice.
those a couple years ago.
I wasn't sure if you
but-
wrote
yeah,
that.
No, that's tattoos.
That's what's cool. Is it looks like you might have written it.
That's cool.
Was that the intention of it?
No, it's just maybe a little wear and tear. It's a horrible spot to put a tattoo.
Wait, let me see.
You know?
Let me see. I see that one and that one.
This is the world. It's
Let me
kind of
see.
a little bit shitty, but it's okay. Shout out to my best friend who did it.
Well, the world is a little shitty, so
There we go.
it's realism
It's a
at
little
its
bit.
finest.
But no, happiness is a big thing that I've been diving into since I met you. Like I've been diving into like how do I really become happy? Because
Right.
and a lot of people, that was something I from another trauma. Like my mom getting breast cancer, I realized that like in that moment it changed me forever. Because like I thought like styling celebrities was cool. I thought like that's what I was gonna do to be happy. I thought living in LA was gonna be making me happy. I thought all these things, perception, shoes, cars, clothes, money. Like no.
You didn't
That's
go.
not-
You didn't go deep enough. Yet.
Yeah.
That's my. I'm just guessing, but go ahead.
Which part?
I don't think you went deep enough.
Which
Like
part?
you didn't.
I just
go,
have so
you
many
didn't go-
stories, so I don't want to
Yeah,
go
I'm
too
gonna-
deep in all
well,
of them.
No,
but
no.
Tell
you
me.
didn't,
Ask me.
no,
a
I'm
question.
saying you didn't go deep enough at the time with your why. You were saying, "Hey, I
Yeah.
want to go to LA. I want to
Okay.
design celebrity clothes, and that's going to make me happy." But that's a shortcut thinking to the happy, because what I've found is, and for me too, I was trying to shortcut. I went to corporate and did really well, but I hated it. So I tried to get out and I tried to shortcut. I'm like, oh, let me do Amazon. People are making money on it. I was trying to get to the money first.
Right.
And I thought that would allow me to do what I wanted. No, you can't shortcut it. Like the only way I was able to do it was to find projects I was kind of passionate about
Yes.
as much as possible.
Yes.
And then each one led to a more and more passionate project. You can't always find the one. Just go
And just
for it. Do things. Yeah.
Try.
But
Yeah, for sure.
that's something.
Purpose and passion. Like
Yeah.
those are like. I mean.
So what is it now that is your why? Do you know what your why
yeah,
is?
I have multiple whys.
Tell me.
So I design with purpose. Like that's my new why for my brand. Like I was it's funny. I was just doing a podcast the other day and I was talking about how I felt selfish for designing, and she was like, "No, that's like your gift to the world." And I'm like, "You're right." But I didn't see it that way. I was like just designing because I love to do it. So now I'm designing with purpose.
Tell me.
Everything I do, you know, and has been in a while. Like for the past 5 years, I've designed everything around like something. Um, since you know my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, that's when the swap happened, and so um, now I design with purpose, but I'm also very focused on giving back. So one of the things I'm doing for that and what motivates me every day to do that is I finally created that course, how to create a clothing brand, and it's being edited right now. It should be out within 1 to 2 months, finally. But every course that is bought, one is going to be donated to a boys and girls club or something like that around the world. And I want to give access to anybody, but like low income brown and black kids, access to fashion and the ability to like start your own clothing brand, because that gave me purpose throughout my life. That saved me when I was like young and lost and angry and I didn't want to live either. You know what I mean? Like I had a weird childhood, but like so fashion gave me like it saved my life, and I want to give that to other people. And the problem with today's way of accessing information like fashion school is it's unaffordable. So I was, you know, I'm middle class, my family's Mexican. I didn't want to ask my parents to put me in $100,000 college to learn fashion, so I didn't, and that led to less opportunities. But I made more opportunities for myself. Anyways, I'm making this course, and I'm thinking of the younger me, and it's gonna be very affordable. There's gonna be levels to it. I'm gonna make one that launches in 2 months. That will be like an affordable one, accessible for anyone. If you work at McDonald's, cool, save your check. You got this. Like, because I want them to value it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have an idea that popped in my
Tell
head
me.
that I just want to share that could be something. First of all, I love what you're doing. I think having purpose behind your personal identity and your business identity is key for this game and for business. Because business now doesn't really do well without like a higher purpose. Like if
Right.
you're not helping your community or like, I don't know, somehow contributing to like humankind
Because that's
in a way,
we as humans don't do
people are
good
starting to wake up to that and they
if we're
want
not.
like quality ingredients. They want you to be doing something good, contributing to the community, and they don't even believe in your brand really as much anymore if there isn't a real connection to something like altruistic, in my opinion.
That's the
And
truth.
so you trying to create a brand, I'm just saying, even from a business standpoint, I know you're not doing it for that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, sure.
beautiful in a way that pain can become beautiful. And I
Yes,
never knew that
yes.
until
So beautiful.
I went through my own and saw with my own eyes how beautiful the pain becomes if you embrace it and don't fight it. Like when my mom passed, becoming healthier physically, my kids would have been fat, honestly, and overweight and unhealthy because that's where I was going. And because she passed away and she was overweight, and that led to part of it, even though the doctors fucked up, I could easily blame the doctors. But what good is that going to do for me?
Yeah,
Because
there's no
part of the truth
solution
is
to
she
that.
was 54 and put herself a little bit at risk, not taking care of herself. I wish I knew then what I know now, but it's okay. She taught me so much. And because of that loss, that pain of losing her so early, suddenly, my kids are so healthy. They should know. I always tell them, thank your grandma.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
say,
awesome.
don't talk about that.
Yeah,
No, I talk about it all the time.
yeah,
I talk about it to use the pain for good. I
yeah.
say, hey, if you're having breathing issues, if you're walking upstairs and you're like, all of a sudden, God damn, I'm really out of shape, go check for blood clots. Because the doctors didn't know to do that. But every doctor I talked to after that was like, how could they have not checked for blood clots? I didn't know. I wish I knew. So my mom's
Yeah.
passing also could help 10 people out there go, Dad, Mom. getting old, you start getting soft. But
Whatever. It's good
yeah,
to be vulnerable.
she
It's not soft.
complained for months.
Damn. To you? About what?
God, I can't breathe. Keep telling the doctor. They're like, oh, you're just anxious because you're getting surgery. They kept putting it on something else. Kaiser, man. And no offense to Kaiser, but
All doctors.
at the time anyway, it was pretty bad what
Sorry.
happened. And then
Yeah.
then she checked herself into emergency,
And still nothing.
and they gave her like blood thickeners because they thought because she was bleeding or something. They just totally yeah. But the point was, as horrible as the situation might be, and as much as you could blame somebody else, you still, once it's over, think about it like, okay, what can I do different? What's in my control?
Yeah, exactly.
If we had been more proactive about her health, maybe, if I had known, I'm not blaming myself. I'm just saying, take that to the future and go, all right, make this pain into something, beautiful.
Learn a lesson
exactly.
from it, whatever you can.
That's how for me anyway, through a divorce, through all these painful things I went through, like being laid off, all these things that you question yourself, are you good enough? And then you bounce back on your feet, you go, all right, and you learn how to navigate better. And you become, and I know for me, I'm definitely happier than I used to be.
Good.
It's just a very gradual 10-year shift.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, overnight. I had to like do a lot of
stuff.
Self-work.
Yes.
Perspective, changing. How am I look? What am I expecting of myself? And, holding yourself accountable, but not, beating yourself up.
Yes.
That was hard.
Yes.
Not talking shit to myself.
I know.
I still do that a little bit. I'm better, but
it's
I still go, fuck, you're fat. You know what I'm saying? Or why'd you eat that ice cream, you idiot? Idiot? I would never call my friend an idiot, ever. Why am I talking like that to myself? I don't do it as much. I really don't. I'm really high on myself these days.
That's good.
Which is good. Like, sometimes I feel guilty or like, am I delusional? And I'm like, nah, fuck it. Even if it's a little delusional, you got to believe in yourself first.
Yeah. And even if that
you got to get to that.
Or
fake it till you, fake the confidence till you make it is very real.
Yeah. And I learned confidence. Look, I read this, I love quotes, but I read this quote the other day. It said lack of confidence is due to lack of work.
Yes.
Because if you're really good at something, you're very confident in it.
Put the work in.
That's it.
But how do you start? That's why I say fake the confidence till you make the confidence.
Yeah.
Because that's how you make you start, even though you think you suck. You go, oh, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna make this jacket. It's gonna.
But you wouldn't.
They're all gonna laugh at me, but I'm gonna make it. But then that's how you. Then you go, oh, that's pretty good.
I never thought
that's pretty good.
Like, look, I'm gonna be real.
Yeah.
I hope other people feel this way. I know people did, and I can't wait to be able to like apply this to the most and really show that I am capable. But I've always I don't know what it was, but I've known that I've been special and I had a gift. Like I was always like, yo, I'm like, as a kid, I strive to be the greatest designer in the world. Now that's not my goal, but like, I knew that I had something special and I was just like waiting to show what I could do. So I never had doubt. I never was like, oh, no, people aren't going to like this. No, I never had that. I believed in myself a lot because I knew what I was capable of. I had it all in here. And
how did you get that? You think you were just born with that?
I was born with that.
Did your mom and did your environment like support that?
No.
Did they try to beat it out of you? Did they
my
try
mom,
to like intimidate it out of you?
I mean, my dad, let's be real. Like my dad was like, I'll never forget this line. He was like, let's be realistic, Sam. And I'm just like, but my mom, she bought me like my first LLC. Like, so I had,
LLC?
Yeah. So she bought Infatu LLC. Like she made it a business.
I'm like, what's LLC? Oh, you mean like a business.
Like, so she was supportive. Like she did little things to like support me, right?
But what about like, 80% of the people I know had zero support.
But look, like, no, that was the only, like, and I don't want to, I'm not like trying to.
No, I get it.
My parents down.
I'm not trying to back up your parents, but
no, I didn't get the support. I didn't get the support. No.
It's okay.
My mom just saw how passionate I was because I worked right next to her. Like she got me a job at her job and I was like her assistant or something like that at this recruiting agency. So literally when I went to college, I would go on my lunch break just to make them proud. I went for like a couple semesters, and then I dropped out, started my business the next day. So she saw me like going hard in the desk next to her. So
Was your mom a hard worker? Was she
my
like
mom's a very hard
motivated?
worker. My dad's a very hard worker. My dad gave me the hustle. My mom gave me the passion and
So
like
I'm
love.
just
But
Sam, I'm sorry for the record.
they thought I
You
was
had-
crazy.
I know in some ways, but people are watching this. I'm guaranteeing you, 80% are watching this, and if they're really listening to you, they're like, "I wish I had that." I'm not saying you didn't have your challenges, but most people I know, like I don't know how Josh was supported by his dad. I think for the most part, like wrestling, but not he had to. They didn't talk when he moved here for like years, so he didn't like. Some people like me, and this is not to blame anyone, but I was so misguided and pushed into like a traditional career that I took a 25-year detour.
I was too.
Yeah.
I was working in corporate since I was 15, and my
Yeah.
mom and dad were like, "You're crazy," because I quit my job and like did what I loved. They like, yo, when I first designed for celebrities, it was
Yeah.
Wu-Tang. And I told them, I woke up the next morning early as fuck, like it was Christmas. I was so excited to tell them. They were like, "Oh, that's cool, but like I don't know who that is, and did you make any money?" And I was like, "No. I just told you I gave Wu-Tang clothes." And they're like,
there are people like
okay.
you. There are like I'm not doubting you at all. By the way, don't get me wrong.
I see support differently.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
That's not like it wasn't like 100% support, but like
Or
I guess
the
I'm trying to
support
represent.
I needed, I guess.
I want to represent for the people that don't get any that it's still okay. You can still do it even if you're not, because
Supported
you are
it
one of
anyway,
those
yeah.
people that whether it's like your chemical balance that just have this like really strong confidence in themselves, and maybe you got exposed to drawing because everyone picks up a pencil at some point and just, you know,
I didn't
some
draw.
people, you didn't draw at all. What did you knew you were going to do fashion though?
Yeah.
From how old?
Probably like 8th grade. I was in the computer lab and I like named my brand Infatu in 8th grade.
8th grade.
Yeah.
That's when you knew.
Yeah. Oh, that's when I was determined.
So,
and look, I did so much work to prove them wrong, too. Because I was supposed to be married. I was supposed to have kids by now. I was supposed to be in that, like, picket fence, White House.
Mhm.
Like, that's what I was supposed to be doing. I was supposed to have a college degree. I would have been the first one in my family.
So you weren't supposed to be sitting in my backyard on a
Exactly.
podcast set with pink leopard pants, a cool shirt, orange badass sneakers, a hairstyle with half blonde, half brunette, and have your own design company and be doing speaking engagements and major events and styling celebrities. That wasn't in the plan?
Hell no.
Not that?
Hell no. I
And
played
free
basketball
and
for my
self-employed and an entrepreneur.
right,
And
like
badass motherfucker.
it's so cool. Like I really appreciate like, the things my parents did pass on to me. But
Right.
it was mostly work ethic and like just being a good person. But
Important.
I
Important
had to
traits, but
prove
you got to
them
take it
wrong.
to the next
I had to
level.
prove them wrong. I had to show them that being an entrepreneur was possible. I had to show them that I could be me. Like that's what I had to show everyone that. And it's so cool. I got a text last year from my little cousin. I wished her a happy birthday and she responded with, "Thank you for showing me that I could do anything." And I was like, that's awesome. Because where I'm from, this doesn't happen. Like, that's another thing I want you to realize is like, I wish you could see Brighton, Colorado. But like, my best friend just died.
Shout out to Brighton.
Shout out to Brian Thornton, Colorado. And shout out to Kayla. But like, my childhood best friend just died from an overdose like a year and a half ago. Like, I know a lot of my friends died from an overdose. Like, and when I say that, people think, oh, you grew up in the hood. No, I grew up in like suburbs. But like, where I'm from, you don't have dreams. You don't pursue them, especially. And you just get stuck in the day-to-day life, and pills are heavy out there. Like, there's a lot of things, like drugs that people get into and just settle and fuck up their life. And then, it just sucks. It sucks to see. But I was like, yo, I gotta go be different. I gotta go show them that it's possible.
You don't even know how much you and Josh need to catch up. Yeah, you guys are like so different and yet so the same.
That's awesome. He said he's been out here for 6 years. I was like, I know he's like a fighter because that's
like
a
that
long
which
time.
had some support, but you're also going to the army, and fuck are you talking about going to LA? and no one does that.
Right.
And it's kind of like a lot of that happens there too, right? Delaware. Shout out. No, but no shout out.
I saw your car parked and it said the first state. And I was like, whoa, I didn't even know that.
Hey,
like,
man, I don't have anything against Delaware. I'm just telling you what Josh told me. But
Yeah,
people don't think of Colorado that way, but it depends on the town,
No,
the
I mean,
environment.
people don't.
And you guys are, I just want Josh to know you're seeing a reflection of yourself in how much, can you imagine how much inspiration Lil Fresh Sam, damn, remember we used to call Lil Fresh?
Yeah,
I have to put that in the clip anyway. But when Lil Fresh Sam is on like a podcast or an event or a fashion show, like I'm just saying, like, and because you're a woman,
Mexican,
and you're Mexican,
small
like
as fuck. No,
small as
I'm just kidding.
small but powerful.
Loved my shortness.
Hey, small packs a punch. You know, you got to lean into who you are.
Right. And
if you're big, be
it.
big. If you're tall, be tall. If you're lanky, be like. Josh won the state championship in Delaware wrestling.
That's
and
awesome.
He's got long ass gangly arms that aren't supposed to be necessarily for wrestling. Usually stocky, but that's how you rap people.
Looks like they were meant for video.
Yeah, he used his cards and won.
Yep.
He wasn't dealt pocket aces.
That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do.
He's not bad looking, but he wasn't dealt pocket aces as a wrestler goes, and he still won.
Yeah.
So don't
I was
complain,
a basketball player. So I played basketball, competitive basketball, majority of my life. And I hit sophomore year and my coach didn't start me. And it was the first time in my life. And I was like, what the fuck? Okay, well, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I am too short to give back to what he's saying. I think we really have a lot in common. But yeah, I mean, you know, and then you navigate somewhere different and look at you're here and I'm here and we're here.
I'm just saying the number of people you're already inspiring and you're just getting started because you're not limited really. All you got to do is like stay around and keep showing up.
Well,
you have a lot of stuff
so much
to do. You're not like an athlete that's like you got 2 more years and then you're out of contract.
Right.
You can. You're only going to get better and better
till I'm alive.
I'm 47 and I'm honestly feeling the best I've ever been overall. Now I do have a sciatica I'm dealing with. So you drop a little physically, but dude, the learning, you start seeing a lot more results.
Wisdom.
Man. So
wisdom is key.
You got anyway, but so Lil Fresh Sam, like you never really told me like how you became who you are. Like what's your story, your upbringing.
I mean, I told you a lot right now, but I know. What part tell me something you want to know.
So like I just want you to tell me your story. Like,
so broad.
How would you, I know. And where, like, you know, how you became who you are. Like, if you were to reverse engineer who sits before me here today, like, what would you tell me about your story, right? Like, like a chapter, there's 10 chapters, let's say, your upbringing, you know, defining moments, things that changed you, people that changed you, and then now who you are, and I don't know, like where you're going.
Okay, I'll try to summarize.
And we haven't also hung out in like
forever.
A couple years. Like we had like a little, I think, challenging moment in our relationship that I honestly feel for where I was in my life. We both probably did pretty well. I don't think we like hated each other or anything, but we got hurt a little bit. And I hadn't seen you till that event, Dr. Chill's event.
Yeah.
Actually. And it's crazy how like I invited you and so did Free for the first time. Like it's somehow we all knew like it's time.
But I also
I was so happy to see you. Like
yeah,
I already know what happened was total just situational. I don't like I'm happy to talk about it by the way, but I already know what it was and I'm sure you do too.
It's so funny because I was gonna be like I was gonna talk to you after the podcast, but like yo, this speaks volumes to who we are to be able to sit here right now and like it's all love, like always. Like I just went through a breakup and I for the first time am like friends, and it's like yo, like I don't care what happened, like I don't care about the ways you made me feel. I don't care about any of that. Like it's all love, because when it's at the end of the day, when if I'm on my deathbed, because I just literally watched my nana be on her deathbed. When I'm on that moment, do you think I'm gonna give a fuck about that argument? No.
This is your ex you're talking
Yes,
about.
yes.
I love that.
So
Thank
I'm
you.
like, yo, it's all love.
Thank you.
Like, I love you. I want you to win. Like,
right.
like,
Why does it have to become
it
hate?
doesn't have
It's
to be bad.
insecurity.
And
Like
that's
they don't
all,
want you anymore, so
but
you,
no,
or
look,
you don't want them, whatever it is.
yeah,
But do you really not love them, or you're just hurt?
you're just hurt.
You're hurt.
But look, this
But if
speaks
you were on your
volumes.
deathbed, exactly, how
But-
would you be?
Yeah, and this is the same situation, like a friendship that, like, you know, we had a kind of like a fight or whatever, like an
And over
a
what?
disagreement.
Over nothing.
And
it was over nothing, meaning like it was over something totally insignificant to who we are as people.
exactly.
Like it was a camera agreement.
And so this speak volumes, right?
And
now to be here to do
without
the
even
podcast.
talking about it.
Exactly.
Because we both know it was me. I'll just speak for me. It was me 2 years ago, much less mature, much less like, oh shit, I tend to get like this. I didn't communicate it right. So many things about it, right? And I know I would handle it totally different. The point is like,
same.
it doesn't matter. It's like
It doesn't
we're
matter.
way,
That's
it's like
exactly
we're past that,
it.
and I already
Yeah.
know you are without even talking about it. I'm only saying it because we're on the podcast to share for other people to go, oh, like
how random or how.
And
cool.
I don't mind talking about it. By the way, I
neither.
just don't want to take up the time
Same.
because that's not the point. The
Yes.
point is how. Just keep in mind who the person is. Like, I have people in my life I also love that I don't want right now in my life. They may even be watching this because they might have. It might be like. It might be a mental illness, not a mental health issue, but a mental illness. And so if that's the case, you have to be careful. I didn't understand it, by the way.
And back to like the childhood trauma, yo. Like we're all just hurt children acting out of hurtness. So it's I never take things personal. I'm really getting better at not taking things personal.
None of it's personal.
But like, yeah, nothing's personal. It's not like
you
what
don't have
you
to be
did,
around it, but it's
or
not,
like not what you did. I don't want to frame it that way. But like whatever happened, right? Like that wasn't because you were like intentionally like fuck Sam, I'm gonna like make her mad or whatever, right? Like no. And same to you.
Right.
It was we both acted out of a place of hurt in a sense, or fear, one of the two, and those are not good places to move from. So yeah, it's cool. I'm like so much more mature, so much more forgiving, so much more aware and wise. Like I just have so much more love. Like it's not about like I was also in a really bad place, as you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm excited to be here. But back to your question, I will
talk about reverse engineer Sam.
Reverse engineer Sam.
What's your story?
Well,
take your time.
Excuse me.
No rush. It's like it's a dance. It's waves. You can't rush.
Roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's been a roller coaster.
Roller coaster.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting that you said that.
Yeah, that's what I would equivalent my life to. But so I'll just kind of give you a little background information. Like I grew up, you know, in Thornton, Colorado, Brighton, Colorado, whatever you want to call it, and this is a city where it's like there's a farm 3 minutes from my house. You know what I mean? Like Denver's a city that's blowing up now and is turning into a big city 10, 20 years later, you know? But like when I was living in Thornton, that was not a thing. There was no real big city. So, and then I'm in a smaller suburban town. And yeah, I grew up like, look, I had a brother that taught me a lot of lessons early on. I would say overall my childhood was good, but it was very, in a ways, traumatic because my brother, and it was like my parents were great. Like, my mom really instilled a lot of great things into me. I'm really grateful for my mom. My dad did too, differently. But my brother like taught me so many hard lessons. Like my brother was a very bad example. He was once my hero when I was a child, and then he grew up to be like a great example of what not to be like. And I can finally talk about this openly. Like I'm free to be me. I'm free to speak out about my life, you know, and I used to always be like scared about opinions, but that was my life. So I grew up in a as a hard worker though. Like I was always a hard worker, and I always wanted to make my parents proud because he had made them so, in my opinion, unproud.
What was the situation with your brother?
Yo,
How
lots of
much older
things.
is
I
he
mean,
older?
lots of things. He's 4 years older. Um, he grew up and got addicted to drugs, and I don't really know too much because I was young. I was like 8 and he was 12. And what I do know is I saw him like, I mean, I don't really care, but like, yeah, like, yo, he was like so much shit. Like, I had deadbolt locks on all of our doors as a child because he would steal everything. Like, I would work, I would go out and friggin' mow lawns and like do all this stuff as a 10-year-old, and he would come and like steal everything. He stole my mom and dad's wedding rings, and I'm kind of going into it, but like, just to give you like a little bit of background and understanding. But yeah, like, it was interesting, but that only progressed worse, right? Like, he ran away. Like, I had to go through the like phone call of him possibly being dead, like, because he hadn't been reached in weeks. And it was like a lot of trauma. So, and just imagine your hero, like, this is your hero, this is the person you looked up to your whole life. So it was heartbreaking. He was the first one to ever break my heart. I didn't even know, like, when the first guy broke my heart, it wasn't even comparable to like when my own brother broke my heart, because like, I thought he was dead because they hadn't seen him in like the abandoned trailer house he was living in, you know? And so my brother taught me a lot of lessons. And when I was 19, actually when I was 18, sorry, I was 16, these are impactful moments in my life. I was sitting in this circle with Kayla and a couple other people I was friends with at that time in my life. And I'm not even gonna lie, like, we're very, open on this podcast. So like, I just have to be real because impact, that's my goal. So you have to be real. I was sitting there, I was 16, and my brother showed me that, like, like, I was kind of careless growing up because I was hurt. And I, drank early. I think I started smoking weed at 16. I was sitting in that circle, and I've never been interested in like pills or like coke or anything like that. I was good on all that. But they, offered me like Xanax, and I was like, oh, I felt pressured. And like, I just remember, yo, I like, yeah, so whatever, that happened. And we're all sitting there in a circle, and they're like, do you guys imagine your life like this in 10 years? And that was such an impactful moment in my life because I remember thinking forward and being like, oh my God, no, like, I'm gonna do such big things. Like, why am I sitting in this circle? And I realized that I had my brother as friends. Like, they weren't good for me, but it's what I saw, and it's, I guess, what I gravitated to. So yeah, like, I mean, I had a lot of crazy childhood or like teenage years. Like, I ran from the cops a lot. Like, I remember running from the cops and literally hiding under semi with Kayla one time because we were underage drinking. Like, stupid shit, not nothing bad or like extreme, but just, yeah, stupid stuff. And
Well, there is no good and bad.
right, just lessons.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot.
I did a lot of bad shit growing up. Just throwing that out there so you don't think I'm sitting here like
No, I don't feel
judging
that
anything
way.
you're saying. And I understand that it's not easy to share because I know you're not sharing because you're trying to throw somebody into the bus, but I know that might be how some people might think, it is. But
Well,
to
some
me,
people don't like the
sharing
truth.
is if you want to help people. Like the reason I'm so open about anything somebody wants to know about is because I'm trying to help other people.
Right.
If I admit that I had anger issues, then somebody else might go, "Oh shit, maybe I could change." If
Maybe I
Rick
cannot.
changed,
Yeah.
he looks like a normal guy, then maybe I can change. So
Yep.
like, if I'm gonna pretend and say, oh, I never do stupid shit or lose my shit or have done bad shit, it's not true, it's not honest, and it's not really relatable because
Right.
most people aren't the, let's say, 2% that are like squeaky clean because they were raised in this emotionally intelligent environment and they had racquetball and tennis.
Right.
Even those environments a lot of times come with trauma.
Oh, most definitely.
Like hidden trauma,
yes.
Right? But 2% are like, wow, like amazingly physical, emotional, genetics, chemical balances, like 2% of the population. That's not a lot of people.
Mm-mm.
Most people that look okay aren't okay, by the way.
Oh, 100%.
Like not that there's something wrong with them, but they've got some painful things that are going on.
This lady put it to me. I was doing an interview on mental health, and I basically, it's unreleased right now, but it's a documentary about mental health. And I interviewed 7 women, like very awesome, powerful women in Denver, and I talked to them about mental health. And it was really eye opening that a lot of people don't know what mental health is. Like even these people we look up to. But this one woman said it to me like this. She said, "Sam, we are not well. We were not born into an economy or a system for us to be well. It was meant for us to be broken. We were born into a slave economy." And I was like, wow, like interesting. And it just like mind blown. So
you brought it full circle. Remember when I forgot what the hell I was going to say? That's so poignant. Our society, we are primates. I think we're just very intelligent primates. I'm not trying to make this a religious argument. I'm just saying there's like 16 or whatever types of primates. We're the most intelligent because our frontal cortex or whatever the fuck you call it got bigger. It doesn't matter. The point is we're primates. We're meant to live together. Even if you go back thousands of years, we were living in clans, in tribes. And then we kind of like evolved into these, we evolved systematically into these artificial climates, even living in homes with fences
and walls
and then each have a room. I know I do it because that's what everyone does, but I kind of like communal living. I think like now that I'm getting older, I'm like, I kind of want to go start a tribe or some shit when I'm older so we can just live with people we like to live with. And people have done it. But the point is like, we are like you said, sort of, it's almost, this is what you said, it's almost impossible to not have mental health issues or challenges in this society because we're living in an artificial space. Imagine if you put chimpanzees in a zoo that had this setup.
Well,
and they're like, where the fuck is everybody?
In addition to that,
it's like, oh, you get your own place.
Throw in like judgment, social media really messed up a lot of mental health.
Yes. And lockdowns.
Lockdowns.
I mean, I understand reasons and logic, but also the mental health reasons weren't factored in as much.
And then
people
the gyms
were in their apartments alone. I have single friends
for months.
They were in their apartments alone.
Yeah.
Thank God for porn and, whatever interactive porn you can have, because they probably would have like hung themselves, man. Some of them.
I mean, a lot of people died during COVID. That's when I was like, yo, why are we not talking about the suicide rates? Like, we're only seeing the COVID cases. Why aren't we seeing the suicide rates?
You just got to balance
because it was so
that.
extreme.
Yeah. You got to balance the safety precautions so that overall you got the best results. That's all.
There was literally an emergency. What is that thing called where you like put out like a
martial law?
No. Like a I forgot, but like it's like
all points bulletin.
Nah, but state of emergency. It was a state of emergency, state of emergency on our mental health.
Wow.
During COVID, like so many, like the suicide rates all around America and probably world increased dramatically. So that's when I was like, yo, we gotta be talking about this. We gotta talk about this. We gotta know that we're human and it's okay to cry. It's okay to like admit that
your vulnerabilities.
Hurt, share your vulnerabilities
because it's healthy for you and also for the other person that goes, oh my God, I'm not alone.
Right.
Feel connected.
That's exactly it. That's why I share my story.
You're the only one. It's
alienating.
It's alienating and it makes you feel alone. Like it doesn't matter. What's the point? Nobody will ever know me.
That's why I share these things.
Or love me. Nobody will ever love me. That's the problem. When you hear someone else that you love, that's what I'm saying, Sam. Like, I noticed how hard it was for you to talk about some of the stuff. You had to like push yourself off the cliff a couple times. Like, just go. And you did it. So I was just letting you do your thing because I don't want to like make you say anything either. I just want you to, you're going to maybe, see how you feel next podcast. You're going to say something different. It's always going to be unique. I think though that you opening up, because there's so many people that think you're cool and perfect. Even if you're talking about mental health, if you don't really share true stories, they're going to think you're just saying, oh, she's just supporting mental health. That's great. Thanks, Sam. But when you talk about your shit, it's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, that's why I accepted, I joined on to co-host a podcast about mental health because it's so important to be talked about.
And it's, can I just say, I just want to say what people might be thinking, that I think it's brave too, because you could be, there's the fear. Most people are going to think the fear of being somehow pigeonholed as this mental health advocate.
Yeah,
Not that that should
I actually
matter.
did hear some comments,
Yeah,
but I don't care. I
but who
really don't care
cares?
what people think, yo.
And
I like myself.
and be you,
I like myself. I
Sam.
actually love myself.
Talk about, because I
So
think
I
you
don't
should
care
do
what
it no
people
matter
think
what.
about me.
Right.
Like, I really don't. Like, I care about what my mom thinks a little bit. So, you know, I had to break that to get these tattoos and stuff.
Sure.
But no, I don't care what people think about me. Like, I try to be the best human being I could possibly be every day. And that's why I love me. And I love me. Like, I love me. Like, I just, you know, I finally accepted all of me. If I'm not I don't have a six pack right now, it's okay. Like, it's all right. I'm human. You know, I ate that ice cream. But I am about to go on a no sugar diet because I learned sugar is the devil. And if you really want to dive into health, like, yo, that's another thing I dedicated like the last year and a half to, is learning about healing myself, because
Right.
I'm very fortunate. My mom, you know, was a very small percentage, but the doctors did very similar. They didn't find her cancer for I don't know how many years. Do you know I had a chihuahua that found the cancer? It just kept rubbing its nose against her arm where it was, and she was like, there's something, like, she felt a pain there, but then that dog, like, for a while, and like she would go to the doctor and all this stuff, and they didn't catch it for years.
Holy
Yo.
shit.
And then she was stage 4 cancer when they finally fucking found it. And so I'm like, no, like, I'm gonna,
God damn.
I
What's the
just take my
Chihuahua's name?
own. It was my little Louis Vuitton. My little
Louis
Louis.
Vuitton?
Shout out Louis, but his last name was Vuitton. Middle name. It was my first dog. But like, I really.
Louis a hero.
Louis a hero.
God
Louis is
damn.
dead. R.I.P.
Shout out to Louis.
Shout out to Louis, and
Just
shout out
saying.
to like healing
Shout out
yourself.
to the digital. We're recording this. Forever Louis Vuitton's name. Well,
Louis.
the Louis Vuitton Chihuahua
Dog. Yeah.
is going to be in the digital airways somewhere. Maybe
Yeah.
stored somewhere
Right,
on a
right.
file. But forevermore, he will be labeled a hero
Yes.
from here on out.
Yes, he
There you go.
is. He is.
That's a beautiful thing we just did.
It is. I think that's out, right?
It might be.
But yeah, man, I think healthcare and mental health are two separate things that, like you said earlier, like, we work out, but like, we don't really think about what we're putting in our body. Like,
Right.
we really need to be paying attention to that, because that dictates everything. And so when I was at one of my lowest points, I was just like, man, I don't want to feel this way anymore. Sometimes it's not a choice, you know, waking up every day not happy is not a choice sometimes. And so, but we have choice, and it takes like a lot of work
You have choice in
to
your action.
find the ways
Right.
to fix it. So I did, or I am continually and forever will, because we are in an unwell society meant
Right.
for us to lose and fucking be broken. And I'm not trying to be broken anymore. So all the things I am in control of, I'm applying.
Exactly.
I'm in control of my diet. I'm in control of what I put in my body.
Right.
And I'm in control of what I do for my mental
Exactly.
health, you know? So
That's what I'm
in
saying.
control.
You can't control your feelings, right? You can't be like, oh, what's wrong with me? I feel depressed. But you can control the actions you take. For example, you can stand up. You can go
Do
like
a little
this.
exercise,
You
yeah.
can run around in place. Like, even if
You
you
could
don't feel
learn
like it, you
Google.
can do it still.
Yeah.
So that's where you break the cycle, where you go, all right, I'm going to get up and go to the gym, even though I don't feel like it, because I want results.
I don't,
And I'm only going to get the results. So am I willing to do that thing to get the results? Yes, even though I know you don't feel like it this moment, but weigh out all the quadrants of that equation. And if you don't want the results, then just be like, I'm happy where I'm at. I'm
Yeah.
good.
and
Just
you
accept
know, like,
that that's how it's going to be. And that's okay too.
we live in a world where, I mean, you could probably get anything at your fingertips information wise. So literally I Googled like how to like fix depression. Like I Googled like, and I'm not prideful to say this, and I'm not prideful to do that, because it's like, do you want to feel this way, or do you want to find what's gonna fix it? So, and taking control in my own hands, because I've been having wrist issues. Like, I think back even then I was too, I use my wrist too much, but anyways, it's my moneymaker. I do everything with this wrist. So I went to the doctor finally. I don't like doctors, but I went, and I love I love the people. I don't love what their knowledge is, but it's okay. And my opinions are my opinions. I'm never
I get
saying
what you're
anything to
saying.
offend people. I
Yeah.
just want to make sure, because I love
You don't
doctors
like
and I
going
love
to
healthcare
doctors, and you don't like the
workers.
idea of being prescribed like
Medication.
medication automatically.
I don't like
which is what
band-aiding
happens a lot.
the problem. I
I'm
like
with
finding
you.
root causes.
I
So
like doctors that are learned but are open-minded, like
yes.
holistic,
Yeah.
holistic,
And
like eating right, nutrition,
yeah.
doing vitamin tests,
Open learning to all
yeah,
the
are you
solutions,
sensitive to foods, or
not just
because you
one.
might not know.
Exactly.
There's a
And
lot of
all those
crappy food
matter.
out there, right?
So yeah, so like I went to the doctor for my wrist, right? And this lady, she had me fill out this questionnaire, and I hadn't been to the doctor in a long time, but I don't know if they do this normally. It was really odd. She like it asked me like, are you depressed? Have you been motivated? Do you like, it was like these weird questions.
They
Like,
do ask that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so it was
Regular doctors.
a questionnaire. So
Today
I got it.
filled that out.
Okay, so but I
Chiropractor.
hadn't ever had it since COVID. But okay, cool.
Yeah.
So they do it. So I answered, and then they weren't unusual answers. But she started asking me about my life. She's like, "What, how's COVID been treating you?" I'm like, "I just moved here. I lost everything. I just went to a
Wow.
funeral, buried my grandpa. But I'm cool. Like I'm
Yeah.
pretty well maintained. Like I'll
Sure.
grieve when I need to, and I do the things
You
I need to help.
compartmentalize well.
Yeah. So I'm like there for a doctor's appointment. I'm not trying to have a therapy session, but
Right.
okay, cool. Like I'll tell you. So she's like, "Wow, like you just went through so much. Like you need to be on these antidepressants. You got to be depressed." And I'm just like, yeah,
Really?
I am, but I'm not gonna like. Why do I like? And it rocked my world, because she said this words. She said, "You are clinically depressed." Yo, that had me feeling some type of way for like a couple weeks. I was like, because labels,
Yes.
fuck labels,
Right.
and so she said that, and it like automatically
based on
went in my
what?
brain
Your description?
based on what I had gone through in the
Right.
last 6 months.
That's
But like,
crazy to say that. So anyone that's
Right.
been in the military
Right.
is clinically depressed?
that's what
That's-
she said.
Honestly,
And she
that's
literally-
irresponsible.
And she literally like really, really, really encouraged me to
It's
take
very
them.
irresponsible, because also the effect psychologically she would have on someone, and
I
what to
know.
prescribe medication that she gets a profit from.
I know.
I that's
know.
why I stopped going to my regular doctor, because I kept saying, how do I get, I had dude, anyone that knows me, my wife, Paystar, my kids, I used to have eczema on my skin
Yep.
that would crack like I would bleed. It would crack my knuckles.
Okay.
And people would go like, look at me. I have to hide my hands in corporate because they thought I was like punching the walls. And I
Like,
couldn't get rid
yeah.
of it. And so I went to my doctor. He's like, yeah, I can give you hand cream, this, steroids. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
but I don't like medicine.
Yep.
Like topical. I go, is that going to cure it? No, it'll just for topical
today.
effects.
Yep.
I'm like, but how do I cure this? Like, what about eating better? He goes, no. And I go, so you're telling me there's no way I can get better? This is a West Hills doctor, by the way.
Yeah,
I don't
I
want to name
believe it.
names.
I believe it.
No way I can get better with nutrition. He's like, well, it's not. How realistic is that?
And do you
I'm
see
like,
that's the mentality I can't
That's the
stand.
mentality. You just gonna tell me there's no way? And how are you saying? And I was like I was heavier at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, I went to this other doctor that's a holistic doctor in Thousand
Mm-hmm.
Oaks, Dr. Garcia. Shout out, because he's a badass, man. And he was like, okay, let's do a panel. Let's do a full vitamin panel.
Yeah.
Which the first doctor I told him to do, he did just a vitamin D. I'm like, no, the full. He goes, oh, we don't do that. After telling me he would.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Look, why don't you do that?
Yeah.
Okay. But
So he did the full vitamin panel, and they found out I had all these like food sensitivities and all this stuff. And I just had a really healthy diet and lots of vitamins for 6 months, and it went
Cured.
away.
I just
So
did the same thing.
you
and
can
I
say that's by chance, but
no, it's not by chance.
and then I stopped, and it started coming back a little bit, and I started getting
Yep.
healthier again. And
Yep.
I just
That's
have a
not by
balance. I
chance.
don't do a lot of dairy anymore.
Yep.
I just was found to have through
Dairy's
a test,
horrible
like
for
a blood
eczema.
test.
Yep.
But they don't offer those tests at regular doctors.
Exactly.
They're not covered by
And
the
that's
insurance.
root cause.
I had to pay $800 for
Yep.
that test.
Yep.
That's fucking bullshit.
Yep.
You might be putting in your body, like he's like, you're not allergic to gluten, but you're highly sensitive based on your blood test.
And we
Like
really
because
all
you've been
are,
eating a lot of it.
'cause it's horrible.
So he
for
goes,
you.
just don't. I eat bread now occasionally. He goes, you've been eating so much, your blood is just He goes, you're just sensitive, so stop eating it for 6 months. I know it's hard, And I tried a few times and quit, and it kept coming back. And when
Yeah.
I did it for 6 months, it
Yeah.
went away.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he got lucky, or maybe,
Nah,
you know,
no. You're
the point is
100%
proof is in the
correct.
pudding.
Mhm.
And I'm also healthier years later because he
Probably
put me
have
on
more
this vitamin
energy.
regimen that was way more than the USDA, by the way, because he's like,
Of
those are
course.
ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
And you need sun 20, 30 minutes a day.
Right.
Vitamin D, bro.
Right. And we
How
were
come they're not
locked in our
telling us
house
that?
for
How
how
come they're
long?
not telling us that?
Because they don't want you to be well.
It's okay if
we
you want to
know.
get vaccines, but also get some vitamin D, get some vitamins, eat well. How come
Right.
they're not telling people to stay healthy?
Right.
If your immune system is strong, that's the best medicine.
Man, don't get me going in because I'm like really passionate about this. Like, I'm just like, how are people not opening their eyes? Like, really? Like, come on. I saw this woman in the other day with a mask, which cool, like, comply and wear a mask, but like, she didn't wash her hands in the bathroom, and I'm
Right.
like, yo, such a contradiction. Like,
People are
whatever.
followers,
But
you know?
yo, I just did a about a month ago, prior to me moving here, I did a 30-day no sugar diet, candida cleanse. Guess what it cured? My eczema, because it's all diet related.
Yeah.
So
I believe it.
that's why I'm like, man, this Western medicine,
look,
I don't have any hate or judgment towards them because I literally have like medical workers in my family, doctors in my family. I love them. I have compassion and empathy for them because that's just what they were taught.
Right. We just need better education so that the doctors also have an understanding of nutrition and like
Hey.
holistic. Holistic doesn't mean like magic smoke dust.
No.
It means other things besides medicine. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Prescription,
like
man-made
right.
medicine. Like
Like
this is
how should you
medicine,
eat?
herbs.
How should you take care of yourself? How to stretch properly or whatever it is.
Yep.
You know what I'm
All
saying?
the
Blood
above.
circulation.
But why?
Proper
It's the
sleep.
same thing. Why we don't get taught like how to manage money in school?
It's weird.
It's not weird though. It's like it's
It's
I don't know.
calculated.
I won't even go into this because this could be
conspiracy theory.
Yeah, it's
But
really
it's not a conspiracy
though,
theory. Can I just tell you?
Yeah,
When
please say.
people are in power,
Mhm.
let me explain a phenomenon I understand.
Okay, cool.
When people are in power and something can be changed, but that will maybe hurt them, they're just not going to be so motivated to change it. It's not that they might be even conspiring. It's like, it seems to be working just fine the way it is.
And it's just like,
But their own children are either in private schools or taught at home to be wealthy entrepreneurs, to manage
Right.
money, to know how to
their
manage
credit
the stock
scores being
market,
built at 10.
credit, yeah,
You know, all the
owning
things.
property, understanding wealth.
Yep.
And the school system doesn't have a class on finance from the time you're 7 years old. Hey, this is how you go to a liquor store and buy a candy. Give them $1. Hey, here's a credit card. Hey, don't charge up the credit card because guess what? You're gonna have to pay it back someday, Johnny. They don't
Like,
teach
just
you that shit
simple
till you're in like
stuff.
you're
You
in
don't-
college. You're like, I'll take a credit card.
Well, and I mean,
Crazy.
you have to pay for that knowledge, you know, so
Right.
they never teach it to you. But
They don't even teach you in college.
I
In
don't think
college,
so.
they have
I
credit
don't
card
know.
vendors on campus
Oh.
selling you,
a credit card.
and the campuses
Of
allow it
course.
to happen.
Of course.
So it's a business, baby.
It's all a business. Have you seen the
It's a fucking racket. Sorry.
Have you seen Explained College
Oh
Debt?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Look,
it's very interesting.
college is a business,
It
just
is a
like everything
business,
else,
yeah.
and they need to get with the times. Some
And
of
it-
them are, and some of them aren't. But it's a racket, and it's only an option. It's not the only thing anymore. It's not the only game in town now, baby.
Right.
There's the NBA, there's the NFL, there's a wide array of industries, and guess what? For every university out there, watch this. For every university, there's probably 1,000 people out there doing what you want to do. Go work for them for free for 4 years, cheaper than college. They won't even make you pay them. They might even give you room and board. Go work for them for 4 years. And if you find out they're shit, they're not going to make you sign a contract.
Right, you
Leave.
can
It's
leave
not
at any
indentured
time. Go
servitude.
learn
Like,
something
I need
else.
to be here for 4 years, if lucky, to get my piece of paper that 80% of the time I either am not going to use or won't want to use, or get stuck using for 25 years till I figure out, like me, fuck, I don't want to do this ever again, or I'm going to just shoot myself.
Yeah. It's so
So
unfortunate.
it's an option.
But
it's an option.
it is an option.
It's one of 1,000. That's all
and
I'm
you
saying.
have the option. That's what we got to make sure the point gets across is you have the option. You're the decision maker of your own
Go work
life.
for Sam for 4 years. If you want to be a designer, don't go to design school.
Right. Come work
Go
with
work
me.
for Sam for 6 months, by the way, for free.
Yep.
And then after 6 months, Sam will say, you know what, dude? If Sam thinks you should go to school, she'll be like, dude, let us get you a scholarship. You need to go get a degree from Purdue. Or Sam will say, dude, you're not that good at designing. Maybe you should go to business school. Or Sam will say, hey, you're a great designer. Work for me. I'll pay you now. You don't need to get a piece of paper. I know you're good.
And that's
Or
what it
let me
comes down
teach you the
to.
business side of things. Or
Well, and that's what I would do in a mentorship. But like, we get told we need this paper to get anywhere in life, and we don't anymore. We live in a time where, shout out to internet, social media, and all the things,
Amazon,
right?
eBay.
Entrepreneurship.
Hey, that shit decentralized to the person. You can be a filmmaker, a movie studio, a television network with fucking movies on IG. You could be a television network on IG, unlimited channels.
You could do anything.
Whatever the fuck you want. You can sell product. You can buy product from China, put your own label, sell it on fucking eBay or on a variety of websites, deliver it, ship it, charge it, make them think you're a big company, market it.
That's why I also have a total understanding for people older than me that did think that way, thinking was the only way, because like my mom and dad, but they didn't get to go to college. But they were taught that that's the only way, and I have empathy because there was pretty much the only way. Yeah, it's a different time. That's what I'm trying to get at. We live in a really, interesting, but like for the majority part.
Hey, look, it's not good or bad. It's just take advantage.
Yes.
It's in the game. You want to ignore it? Like, I understand why my parents or my dad ignores it, or he's retired, but it's a bad example, but he doesn't want any part of it. He doesn't even want to get Facebook. He's like, I don't know. It keeps popping up. Whatever. I'm like, dude, you're missing out on all the videos, though, of the kids. But whatever. Like, but I know it's in the game. And by the way, I was turning into my dad when I was working because I'm like, I don't want Facebook, stupid. I like talking to people, blah, blah. I was doing that. And it hit me one day, probably through Gary Vee or someone. I'm like, it's in the fucking game. Like, it's in the game. EA Sports, it's in the game. Meaning, I can't ignore it. I can choose to not utilize the tool. Or I can go, fuck it. Like, maybe I'll just make the most of it. I don't have to let it control me, but let me put pictures out there and let people know me. And then, hey, that could turn into doing something I love, like a podcast.
Yeah.
Boom.
And here we are.
Yeah,
it's cool. I mean, social media it's definitely a tool. And if you utilize it as a tool rather than a dictator on how you should live your life or what you should be, then you're in a good space if you use it as a tool only.
So getting back to mental health, which is the train we were on that we left that was part of your story.
Yeah.
Mental health is a big part of, I think, your story. Honestly, not because you have mental illness, but because you are aware of most everyone, I would say at least 99% of people at some point suffer with mental health issues, challenges, downtimes. Oh my God, I don't feel like, what's wrong with me? I know I did, so I'm just admitting that, and it was very frequent in my life when I was in a different place. Now it's no bad days. That's what I'm saying. Something to look forward to is no bad days. Bad moments happens.
Yeah.
Bad days, your choice. Yeah. You can get over bad moments quickly.
There's things that will happen throughout your life, like deaths or big things, traumatic things that like it's okay to be down for a little bit, but and another thing that I learned is like it's never a end. There's never a time where you're gonna, unless you die.
Right.
But like you're always. That's why
even then you don't know if it's over.
Well, but that's why I call it a roller coaster because it's always ups and downs. Like mental illness is not like there's no like you're not gonna get cured of it. Like essentially, right? You can learn better ways to deal with it and handle it, but everybody's got it, and there's never gonna be an end to it. But it's a up and down, and it's just because life is up and down. But we can learn about it and learn how to cope
and improve. It's a game. I like to look at it like a game. Not because I'm saying it's not important or that it doesn't have meaning. Like, that's your choice. I'm just looking at it that way for effectiveness. Like, hey, when you're playing a game, just get better at it.
Yeah.
Accept the reality of the game. Like, it is going to be a challenge. Don't make an expectation like, I should be great by now. What's wrong with me? No. Honestly, there are periods of my life where a lot of mornings I'm like, and then but I just get out of that quick because I know, hey, I need to figure out what it is. I don't ignore it.
Yeah.
It's also the other thing, like when people say take pills, you're numbing what's going on inside you instead
Right.
of like
Fixing it.
going off to the mountains and sitting and meditating or praying or whatever you do on it and relaxing and maybe taking yourself out of the stress to go, what do I need to do or what do I want to do, or let me get some oxygen. And
Let me just
then,
think.
yeah, that's
Right.
instead of here, take a pill. I just don't get that.
I don't either.
Like,
And
hey,
I have
go
no,
take a vacation, then come back. And if you're like not breathing well, let me give you something. Okay, I get that.
yeah,
Not
and look,
judging.
like back to what we were saying earlier, like all this is, it's all has to do with like diet change and water intake. Do you know anxiety is caused of lack of oxygen and lack of water?
Interesting. I
Most
didn't know
people,
that. But
what does the FDA
water.
or whoever tell us how much should we drink a day? I literally asked my nana,
Okay,
how much
tell
water
us.
do you drink a day? And she
Yeah.
was like 64, what the doctor told me I should. Yo, what the
That's
fuck?
too low, right?
Yeah, we need our body weight in ounces. Like,
Right.
we need to be drinking more than a gallon a day. Anyone that
Wow.
wants to, like, yeah, so because we are majority of
How many
water.
gallons is 220 ounces?
But like, even if you just drink a gallon a day, like that's
Right.
okay.
If I don't drink at least a gallon a day, I noticed lately, and this is not the first time, by the way, in my life that I have gone, okay, I'm gonna start hydrating because it's a lot of work. If I don't drink, I run really hot. So like if I don't drink at least a gallon, I get dehydrated. I start getting headaches after a
Yep,
while. I start
yep.
getting tired. My voice starts going like this too. More. I've been a lot better, but it's
So
definitely
water
a
is very
huge
important.
part.
Water
Yes.
is very important to your mental health,
Absolutely.
your overall being, and just how you feel. Like if you get headaches, don't go take an aspirin. Like figure out why you're getting these headaches.
Exactly.
Drink more water. Maybe get a massage. Do some pressure point therapy. Like why do we go right to pill? I
Yeah.
don't know. I'll never understand
Understand your symptoms first, and
Yeah.
you're so right. And again, like the headache thing, by the way, my parents used to take me to the emergency room as a child because I get these migraines.
that. Wow.
Like the type of migraines that you throw up, like you get
Mhm.
so physically ill from the pain. So it's something you can't, like, if people have, I know people have this chronically and they like commit suicide because it is
Really
like
bad.
that. Yeah.
Damn.
And I get it on occasion only because I figured out
The root
it's
cause.
not enough sleep consistently. It's not like if I don't sleep one night, that's why it tricked me. I would just like to stay up a lot, and then I got a job and I had to get up at 6. So I'd get like 3 hours of sleep 3 days in a row. And then the fourth day, I get a crazy migraine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's either that or dehydration. Those were my two things.
Yep.
If I hadn't figured that out, I'd be suffering headaches. My mom suffered headaches 3-4 times a month, like that. Like she wouldn't go to work, like she'd have bandages, cold compresses around her head. It was like the ones I get, so I know they were really
Yeah.
bad, and you get nauseated. And she never, I don't think, figured it out.
Well, and see,
'Cause
like,
I never-
I don't know, like, what differentiates from the person that's gonna go search for the answer or go just let somebody tell them, like, what it is, or what could be.
I didn't even know to try because everyone tried to give us medicine.
Yeah, exactly. It's
No
so
one said, "Hey, are you
unfortunate,
eating? Are you vitamin deficient?"
but, right.
Get a
Do you
first of, look. I'm
exercise?
just
Do you in the
saying this is
sun?
going to be not a great answer, but really, if you want to be, because to your point, Sam, and the reason I keep staying on this subject for a long time because it is an important issue,
Mm-hmm.
and these are things not everyone can afford, but everyone has the possibility to take action on.
At least
This
small
isn't saying like, hey,
actions.
change your brain,
Right.
get a brain trend. No, this is saying, hey, if you drink more water, if you're dehydrated, you're probably not at 100%. So why not drink more water and see where you are,
Yeah.
right? And
Try
also,
it consistently for a while, though.
I didn't know to figure out, hey, what's causing my headaches. I just thought I got headaches. So if someone's listening to this, or if they have something like that,
Listen to your body.
listen to your, and then just check each thing off the list. And if it doesn't help, then go back to doing your old way.
Yeah, and I mean, just really, like, I think it takes action, right? Like, it takes work, like
Exactly.
looking for solutions and
Right.
not just
I'm
settling,
very
right?
competitive.
Yeah, me too. I think that's why we keep going.
I'm
going.
never satisfied. I noticed
Yep.
that lately because you know what? Corporate life took that away from me. I've been telling Josh, like, I'm learning to balance my competitiveness with my love. for people because it sometimes seems to get in the way with people, not intentionally, but I'm so straightforward with my feedback because I want to win, and I'm so like assertive about it now because I'm getting competitive because I'm doing what I love now.
Mm-hmm.
When you're not doing what you love, you lose who you are.
Yep.
But the competitiveness keeps me always improving, I noticed. And so
I
I'm
feel
just
you.
saying for the record that maybe for people that aren't as competitive, they
Maybe.
can find other motivation for improving or be happy with who you are. That's the other option. I know people that are not like, for example, I know people that are comfortable that don't like they're they love their life and they're comfortable and they're not other than like doing interesting, let's say, vacations. And I think they're
That's
super
totally
happy
cool. Yeah.
and it's
Your life
totally
doesn't have
fine.
to be
And they're
like
not super
extravagant.
competitive. Those people I noticed, they're not
Okay.
super competitive. Like Michael Jordan has to be
Yes.
and Kobe has to be, but not everyone has to be that to be happy. And I just want to say that
Right.
there's also these, and I'm my brother, I love him. I'm so happy for him and I'm somewhat envious of him. He's doing great in his career, but he's always content. He's been in his job for 25 years. He plays golf a lot. He takes vacations. He has a car. He lives in a good house, like a nice house. He's not like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. He's not super competitive like that. And that's okay. He found his happiness his way. But if
Exactly.
you're competitive, it's okay to not be satisfied too.
Well, and
You
look,
shouldn't go,
everybody's
oh, I should be satisfied like that person. You don't have to be.
well, and
Play your
everybody's
game.
yeah, exactly. Everybody's got their own life, their own like direction, destination, purpose. It doesn't all need to look. It doesn't need to look anything alike, and that's something that a lot of people would kind of because I always promoted like do what you love early on in my career. And I remember talking to one of my best friend's moms, and she was kind of like not offended, but she was just like, well, I love my life and like I'm okay. Like I was talking about like settling, and I'm not judgmental. I think like as long as you're happy, that could look a million trillion different ways. So I'm just all about like what makes you happy and do that.
Exactly.
You know, as long as you're not hurting anyone or
Exactly.
know,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. I like to think of it as consensual. As long as you're doing consensual things, do what makes you happy. That's how I look at it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
and that looks differently for everyone.
For everybody,
And
it's different.
don't look at someone else and be like, oh, I should be doing that,
Not
or
at
I'm
all.
not, because I'll even find myself doing that. Like Instagram is a freaking devil sometimes, and like a comparison is the thief of joy. So
There are little principles, and maybe you should go through like 5 principles like that do help or can cause depression. Depression doesn't mean clinical depression. I was depressed compared to now before because I was doing a job wasn't happy and I didn't want to get up in the morning. So that's a depressed state of who I can be. That's all. Nothing bad about that. I just need to inflate that thing a little bit with air.
yeah, get back up.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And that takes effort.
Lots of effort.
No, the air's not
Yo,
gonna
lots
come
of
on
effort.
its
That's
own.
something we should definitely clarify. Is like getting well in an unwell society is not easy. Like feeling happy is not easy. That's why I'm so obsessed with it, because it's something that like I'm obsessed with becoming and being, and it's not easy.
Are you happy right now?
Yeah, I'm happy.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you?
Other than like, so I've been a little bit homesick because I just moved back here.
Scale of 1 to 10. Then we go from there.
I would say an 8.
8.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
I'm really happy.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Because
I'm
I think
very
I'm
happy.
around there, like maybe 8, 8.5. And I was probably an 8 6 months ago. I'm changing a lot lately because I'm more in what I want. And when that's like a tipping point. So there's not a lot further to go. I
No,
don't
and
expect to get to a 10 ever, by the way.
Really?
No.
Oh, I do, but it's
9.9. Meaning there's always, it's not about
but it's
perfection.
like it's not about it's not about a 10, it's about the highest consciousness
you're
you
right.
can reach.
I like that.
That's what I'm trying to
Meaning,
reach.
I am going for a 10.
Yeah.
But I don't have any expectations. I could be hit by a train tomorrow, and I don't expect not to be.
But you should always strive. That
strive
champion
for a
in
10.
you is always going to strive for 10.
Striving
Yes.
and requiring something of yourself, and like, okay, I'm going to get up at this time. That is okay. But expecting means if that doesn't happen, your world is shattered.
But look, you have your whole life till you're dead, and then that's the end. So when you're dead, you're not gonna be like, oh, I didn't reach a 10, because you know,
Right.
like you're not. It's so you have till you're dead to try. So I feel
I
like
know.
you'll get there.
I know, but I don't need to reach a 10 to like be a
Be
winner.
okay and content.
Yeah.
Yes, I feel
I
you.
already feel like I won every day because
Yes.
my objectives every day are just to do my best.
Yep.
And even to get in front of a microphone is already a victory.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I did my stand up, I did stand up a few times, like just to do it because I was scared. And when I went to do open mic, I didn't have material. And I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do it because that's even harder. And I had a plan. And it was beautiful because it was like, what's my objective today? So I went up and I said, hey, I told myself, if I get up here to a hot mic and say hello, then I already won. So hello. So if you guys don't laugh from here on out, that's your loss, motherfuckers. I already won, joking. And then they laughed and it was good. And
That's
I just
awesome.
talked about something. I don't even remember what.
Yeah.
But like the point is like, it's not to set low standards because if you want to have fun, I like to try to achieve the highest level I can get to.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
I don't need to get to a 10. I just need to do what I like, that I'm passionate, what I love, passionate about with people I love. Like you said, man, like you said, Sam, the people you're around is the key.
Yeah.
And like your experience kind of dictates maybe like the level you want them to be on in this game. Because there are levels to this game in terms of like emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like for me, that's what I look for most of all, or like just the character, you can still love everyone, but your 10 have to be like really fitting you and supporting you and fitting what you need in the team. If it's your vision,
Yep.
they have to be 100% behind your vision. They have to love you 100%. You have to love them 100, like not 100%, but you know, it has to be on a very high level.
Yeah.
It can't be like, okay, that's fine. Now, once you get that core, then, you know, you let them lead their areas for you. But you got to bring that first team and you got to be really selective. And I try to tell everybody I talk to, because most people, including me, are in that stage. Like, I feel like we're probably like 8 strong with the whiskey brand because we're still working on a couple open spots. And it's funny how it's like, it is 10 people.
That's cool.
And then they're going to probably, as we grow, hire people. But they
Yeah.
kind of got all the departments covered.
Yeah.
It's like I am including even a lawyer to count, because those people have saved us potentially millions of dollars down the road. If we make money, we're going to save a lot of tax money because they're like, they've done this before. We trust them. There's like
That's
a
awesome.
referral.
Yeah, it's
all
important.
these people you've been meeting and testing out, getting to know, are they yours? Are they your tribe? You get to select your tribe. It doesn't have to be family. It can be.
It's
It doesn't have to
well,
be
I call it chosen family.
chosen family.
I have a lot of chosen family. I have a lot of.
And that's your company, by the way. We were talking earlier. I was telling people, you know, it's the company is not just a business term. It's the company you keep. It's your team. It's your tribe. You know what I mean? It's very important who you choose.
Yep. It'll make or break you.
Yeah,
So.
for sure. But I do have to say this, because we talk a lot about the we and that it's all about the we. And like, I believe in that. But I do want to say that first, it's about the me. First, you got to figure your shit out. I'm talking about me and every person. And then you find the we. Then you flip the M upside down and find your we, find your team. Because if you don't know yourself, you're not ready to find the team yet. You got to put the oxygen mask on yourself first.
Yeah.
Get air to yourself first before you could take care of others. Figure your shit out. Like, I feel like I just got there. I'm 47. I just got there, 47 and a half. You probably you thought you were there before. I thought I was there before.
Yeah, I wasn't.
And I may not be totally there, but I see now.
You see that
the tipping point
that's
happened.
the part, right? And that's, I feel
it
it's
already
like clarity.
tipped. Yeah.
Yeah.
We on our way.
I'm about to be
and
30 this
yeah.
year. It's crazy. I am just
So you
like,
got so much time
I
to
got
do
so much
some
time. I'm just
amazing,
in
and it's
my
all going to be
barely just
cumulative.
starting.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, but you know, I mean, I also, by the way, so for people that don't know, I always put passion over paychecks and profit. But I realized that profit makes change, and so use it as a tool, and it's not bad.
Use it as a tool, use it as fuel.
Yes. So I've been very focused on money. I'm like the richest I ever been, which I'm not rich. I'm just finally caring about money.
Relatively rich.
I mean, one day I'm rich in a lot of ways. I'm
Yeah.
rich in happiness. I'm rich in love. I'm rich in family. Like
You're
I'm
rich in
very,
experience and potential monetary value, which
yeah,
that's
that's
10 years of
limitless.
build.
I'm excited.
That's 10 years building. You understand? You can't just get there in one day. Someone can't just buy their way into 10 years of experience. No matter how much money they have, they're going to need you.
Yeah.
So at this point, you just need to connect to the money. The money's already there to give to someone like you. Do you understand that?
Yeah,
You
I'm
get
ready.
that now.
I'm
I didn't know
ready.
this till this year, and
Yeah.
everyone should know this. There's a lot of fucking money out
just
there.
waiting.
They
for
ain't
you.
going to just give it to you, though. You got to give them something real where they go, holy fuck. So that's why you got to find yourself 1st Figure out, okay, what are you about?
What are your values?
Find your why.
Yes.
What's your passion? Find your why. Something hopefully bigger than yourself. If it's God,
It has
great.
to be bigger than
if
yourself.
it's purpose, great.
Other
if it's
people.
mental health, great. It could be something that's bigger than you,
It
just
has
because
to
it
be
helps
bigger
your
than you.
motivation.
No,
it
but
helps
let's
you
be
get up in
real.
the morning.
It has to be bigger than you.
Because if it's just you,
It won't work.
It's gonna be easy to like go. I'll get up later.
Longevity, it's not there.
Right.
You'll
So
one
it's
day,
just a
yeah.
good idea. It's just
Yep.
good gamesmanship to have a higher purpose, not a made up one, a real one. If it's God, great. If it's your parents, if it's someone close that died to you, and you're like, I'm doing this for them and for the rest of my life, I'm motivated by that. Great. But something bigger than yourself, so it can be your guiding light.
Right.
And,
I mean, you're gonna get those days where
Yeah.
you don't want to get out of bed, even
Right.
if you are doing what you love. And you just gotta have something that's like, I put quotes all over my room, and I also put pictures of like my nephew or like things he's made me or like my family. Just constantly reminded why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because if it's about me, I'm not gonna do it. Let me be real. And I think that's a lot of women. I don't know if men are that way, but like women are very selfless, so they're not gonna go hard if it's about them. So
Right.
I think you have to definitely have something outside of yourself to accomplish big things.
I agree. It's the smart thing to do.
And like it's
Lil Fresh
you feel
Sam.
good, you know?
So leave us with this. Like what's next for you, first of all, and how do like people follow your journey and get involved with what you're doing? Plug yourself, whatever
Okay.
you want to throw out there, because I think that's important. Just because I think like I'm definitely excited to see what you're gonna do. Just because whenever there's passion behind it, like that's interesting for me. You know what I mean?
Well, that's majority of what I'm made of, I think. So I got my course coming out soon. I'm working on a collection. I'm actually looking for someone to just sponsor it. I decided because it needs to be amazing. It's going to be dedicated to my Nana. It's a collection about heaven and hell. And it's going to be very impactful. And I'm really excited to start creating that. I'm looking for a creative studio right now in LA or somewhere around these areas so that I could start creating again. And once that happens, it's like, man, I'm excited. And that's going to happen in the next week. So
we might be opening studios in downtown.
Okay.
For this podcast, because I'm looking to take this to a studio and have maybe other podcasts shooting out there, because a lot of, I think, artists would do really great. Like you obviously should be doing podcasts. You already are, but you might want to do another one and another one. And
yeah.
Anyway, I don't know what it's going to turn into, but it might be like a multi-unit, like multi-potted
That's what I'm looking
art
for.
studio,
Yeah.
and maybe like lofts and stuff. And
okay.
we might have certain artists that want to run it that live there, because I'm not going to be able to be downtown.
That's like
much.
literally what I'm looking for.
Like
that's very
and it's an art
interesting.
compound. Like,
yes.
It's in this like super cool artsy downtown
in Arts District.
kind of on the outskirts of the art district, but where there's a ton of, at night, it turns into like an event block.
Oh, cool. Even
And it's
better.
super like, this is from, I'm just giving credit to the king of downtown LA, props to Bearded Josh. So maybe we'll talk about it because I meant to call him. I might be balling with him on Sunday.
Okay.
But I'll talk to him because, I mean, that's just like a big network of people that could be involved, and you could just play whatever part. That's what's cool. People can be like, hey, I just want to rent a studio once in a while, or I'm going to rent it, but I'm going to get it booked for certain times. So I'll pay, it'll pay for itself. Or I get free time if I'm managing, or some people will live there and get free studio time or free rent, or I don't know how it's going to work. We'll have to figure out the business plan, like, and monetize it. And I'm only talking about it because if somebody wants to do it and copy it, go ahead. Because I think it's a business plan that should be everywhere. Because living in LA is so expensive.
Yeah.
So I'm like, the only way to really survive as an artist, you could be like the most talented artist, and it's really tough to survive unless you figure out some kind of alternate arrangement. Sometimes where you're like either living in an art house. I'm encouraging people to start art houses. Like,
yes, they're
like
super
get a group
necessary.
of 5 people, get a freaking 3-bedroom.
Yes.
Bunk up, do whatever it takes, but make art there.
Make
have
art
a backyard,
in your living room.
Display it, have art shows. People can compete with big business by offering custom things that businesses can't. A custom note from you because you're a personality. You obviously because you're doing one of a kind pieces, obviously, and it's your own collection. But even people that don't have their own designs can be offering like special advice. Like, hey, if you buy business cards from me, we were talking about this today, offer them that you'll help them design it. And even though you're not going to make money at first, you're gaining a customer. Some of them may not come back, but you're just starting out to help people, like, you know, get started. And so I think we're going to do that with the business, but monetize it with people renting space to come, and businesses will want to do podcasts from there because we'll design it for them. We'll design a set, and they'll just sponsor one of the pods.
Yep.
And like from that one pod, we'll get other artists to get to do their shit. Or when they're not using it, we just green screen it. And like, I mean, you know, like there's ways to make money and also implement young artists' talents and then give them a way to like survive.
Yeah, man.
You know,
it's especially in LA. Like, it's expensive to live out here.
Shit,
and then you have to buy a studio to work in.
Right.
And it's just like, I'm paying more in my life for my monthly bills than I ever did in my life. And I'm just like, okay, cool. But like, you know, it's okay. But I just, being an artist in LA is pretty tough. So, artist house make it easier. And that's something why I lived in a creative house prior to this one, because that's exactly what I did. We turned the living room into a set. I had a sewing like little area. My friend had a barber area. My other friend had guitar. Like, we would throw a green screen up whenever. We shot music videos there, through parties. It was amazing. This spot was also just amazing aesthetically. Looked like an art gallery.
But if you put your mind to it, you could come up with a way where you can even put together an art house for others, and you don't have to maybe pay because you're managing it all.
Exactly.
Because you found the house and said, hey, if everyone contributes $600, we get to all bunk up in this massive house in the hills.
That's what everybody's doing. But it's not $600.
Right.
But yeah, that's what people are doing.
Maybe you got to bunk up more. Whatever.
Yeah, but you know, it's just crazy out here rent-wise. Like,
if I was a young artist, I'd be like, hey, like, create different levels. Like, is there like a hostel level art house that I can like enter in, where it's like I get a place to sleep, it's safe, and there's like art areas where we could do stuff like in like studio creative, but like it's super cheap because I can't afford $1,000 or $1,500 a month, but I need to be where the job is. I don't have a car because I just moved, or I'm just living here without.
There's so many of those stories. I can't even tell you how many people I personally know in that space, but. Yeah, I mean, it could be anything. And I think that just like WeWork happened, I hope one day somebody profits off our conversation and like makes it happen, because it needs to happen. And one day, I mean, one of my goals is to make something like that in Denver, but not necessarily housing, just a location where people could go test out passions. like potential passions, like
Right.
music, art, painting, whatever, all the things. But yeah, I think more resources for artists in general just need to happen. More grants, more scholarships. We need help. Like starving artists don't have to starve, you know? We taught that. So I got out of that mentality recently and I'm really excited about that. And I'm just preaching it for others because we don't have to be martyrs. That's what somebody told me, and that's what changed my perspective. Is she's like, you don't have to like kill yourself to do this, you know? Like,
Right.
and I really was. Like, I burnt myself out the last 10 years. That's why I've had to sit down. Like, COVID really forced me to sit down, stay still, learn about your mental health, learn about your physical health, and like re-up. Like, so I haven't done fashion in a while. I mean, I have, but not to the degree I would have loved to. It's been a kind of like a back burner because I put me first. Like you said earlier, you literally got to put you first, get right, get your values, readjust your goals, because it's been a decade now almost, and I'm like, things have changed. Passion, like goals have been completed, you know? So you have to upgrade that and reevaluate and then reset, come back harder, you know? So that's where I'm at in life.
Always adjusting.
I'm very excited.
Always adjusting. Hey, check, because I think probably, maybe not. I thought maybe we had a message. Let me see. Because our next here. Can you check it, Joshy? Because I don't want to interrupt our conversation. Yeah, but I don't want to like just wrap it like that. I don't know what she said, but he'll make us wrap it up if needed. I just don't want to be rude because if she's waiting out there.
Yeah, totally.
Just to let her in. But,
we went in.
But I don't want to wrap it like unless you got to go.
I mean,
because we look, Sam. I think honestly, if I'm being transparent right now, because I like to like check in with my thoughts because they're often like interesting, sometimes not. But like I think we could do podcasts for hours. Like if we could do certain topics and create like volumes of like work, I think. And maybe that's something to kind of keep in mind. So like there's a lot I actually want to like ask you about and get into with you
off
about.
of the podcast?
Oh no, like on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like in the future.
Okay.
Yeah. And off too. Whatever there's probably like potential business stuff we could talk about or whatever. But I'm like really excited to reconnect with you. And it's crazy that you're living like 5 minutes from here.
I know.
And no expectations ever, but I'm like always cheering for you.
Thank you.
Know, in either in the forefront or the background.
I appreciate it.
And I just really love hearing your point of view. I love sharing my point of view with you too, as you can tell, because I try to not talk as much sometimes, but like with you, I just want to like, it's like a good tennis volley.
Yeah.
like, let's keep it going. How long can we keep this thing going?
I was talking to this pastor.
And it's smooth, man.
And he was like you got something to say. Like you finally got, like I had been saying things through fashion for a while, but I finally got, like, that's why I don't even mind a camera in my face or a mic in my face anymore. Like I have something to say and it's for a purpose. Right. It's for other people. So I'm with you. I'm easily
I just
inspired.
got there. Did you just get there? When did you get there?
I mean,
honest, you're still getting there?
No, I feel like I'm pretty much there. Right. I think speaking in
pretty
front of
much.
a crowd,
I'm still getting there. I'm just being honest.
Yeah. Always I mean, pretty improving. Much there, right? Like we're always
every
growing,
day,
always growing.
Every time though, I go, is today the day I'm not gonna have anything to say? But then I go, shut up, or be quiet.
That's bad
man.
thoughts.
You know you're gonna have something to say.
But you always seek progress when you speak. You know, so that's the best thing I could ask for.
Right.
Is but it's taken me a long time to have something to say, you know? So I'm excited and I'm here for it. And I'm here to give back and teach and just serve. Like, I'm excited.
Yeah. Like, I feel like I've never had something more worthwhile to say before than I do now.
Yep.
Even though in the future I will probably think
always
that I'm thinking better, but that's a good thing. It's good to, you do realize at some point that there were some turning points where you're not always going to improve. Like, once you get your golf game pretty good, there ain't a lot more you could do, but you still keep practicing because it's a nonstop practice. You know,
Ooh.
there's never perfection.
Yeah, never.
You know, you once
That's
in a while get a
life.
hole in one, but there's always room
You
for
always got
improvement.
room to
You always
grow.
got to remind your muscles, your body. That's why the best come and practice before the game, man. Because you got to always be practicing,
Yep.
always be ready.
Yep.
And when you let go and things start falling apart, that's okay. But just know that start taking action. Take some action. What's the worst that could happen?
Literally.
Nothing good. But at least you're trying. You're adding something to the mix.
I
You're
mean,
moving your
everything
body.
good. Everything
Going to the
good.
store. You're calling a friend.
Everything good could happen.
Everything good could happen. You
Yeah.
never know.
Well,
What if we had, like, Sam, honestly, to use us as an example, I honestly am not even realizing the impact of this conversation right now, because I always realize the next day or 2 days later, like, the full impact of my experiences somehow. I don't know if you feel the same way, but like right now, it just hit me. You sitting there, me sitting here, and I'm like, we could have easily been like, whatever. Oh yeah, Sam. So I don't care.
ego. That's
Ego,
why I said I'm
man.
proud of us. It speaks volumes. Like, it's dope. That also speaks volumes to how much we've grown in the last
Yeah.
like 3-4 years.
Yeah. I'm excited, Sam.
Me too.
Do your thing.
Yep.
Don't be a stranger. Visit the neighborhood. Let's grab a coffee. Let's talk about events. Let's talk about collabos. Josh here makes music videos. She's making people look amazing with an A+. So I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen, man. We're gonna mix the
Unlimited
elements
possibilities.
together and let the molecules bounce and
I
do
love
beautiful
building.
things.
Yes. Yeah, let's get it. I'm excited. Thank you.
Lil
you for having me.
Fresh Sam. Let's go, girl.
Yes. Great podcast. Great podcast.
That was awesome.
Knock him out the box, Rick. Knock him out, Rick. Knock him out the box.